Led by Brook, a group of people came to the cemetery very quickly. Zombie soldiers are constantly emerging from the ground like mushrooms after rain. Zoro is in charge of stabbing one by one. Brook is in charge of spitting water into the mouths of these zombies, orderly. One after another shadows floated away from the graveyard, towards the side of the foggy forest. Afterwards, the group continued to walk in the direction of the ghost castle. Ah! I really deserve to die. Suddenly, Rob Lucci, who was walking in the front and acted as a spy, let out a moaning sound, and then lay down on the ground. What's going on? Zoro immediately drew his swords out of their sheaths, looking for them with sharp eyes. Wow! It's a ghost! Nami got his wish and jumped on Luffy again. Brush. A sword light flickered, and Zoro's figure appeared behind this ghost. Ah! Why did I appear here? I'm such a humble bug. Zoro lay on the ground, buried his face on the ground, and did not forget to cover his face with the dirt on both sides. At this time, the ghost floating in the sky flew towards Luffy. Luffy frowned, stepped on his feet several times in an instant. Shave. There is still a Nami on his body. Luffy immediately teleported to another place. Not good. It's their cadre, Perona, who is here, Brook reminded immediately when he saw this scene. But the next moment, another negative ghost passed through his body. I reflect, I don't deserve to live in this world. Brook lay on the ground, posing with a big character, and looked at the sky with empty eyes. Other targets were eliminated, and the two negative ghosts floated towards Luffy at the same time. Luffy encountered this ability for the first time, so he was very cautious and kept changing his position with shaving. He. There was a burst of strange laughter from the empty place, which immediately attracted the eyes of Luffy and Nami. I saw a girl wearing a crown and 28 pink double ponytails floating in the sky. She still held a small wine-red umbrella in her hand. You two are really flexible. My negative ghosts can't even touch you. People were floating in the air, Perona said with a smile. Passive ghost, Luffy frowned. The way he looks at Rob Lucci, Zoro and Brook. It does seem to be a negative look. Yeah. I'm the ghost girl who ate the ghost fruit. Those are my negative ghosts. If you touch them, your mood will become extremely negative, Perona said. Alright. Thank you for the information. Luffy nodded, then Conqueror's Haki was released instantly. The terrifying coercion condensed into a Haki horse training, which directly hit Perona. But the next moment, so strong, Luffy is a bit surprised to see that his Conqueror's Haki has no effect on Perona. This girl can forcibly resist the precise attack of my Conqueror's Haki, is she so strong? Luffy, be careful behind you. I noticed two negative ghosts coming from behind again, Nami reminded me. Always dodging like this is not an option. Luffy turned to face the two negative ghosts, and tried to attack the two negative ghosts with Conqueror's Haki. However, it is not an egg, and the effect of the sun point is also useless. Quickly, they're about to touch us. Nami hung behind Luffy and shouted nervously. Shave. Luffy distanced himself from the negative ghost again, thinking quickly in his mind. After a while, Luffy suddenly had an idea. He turned his head to look at Nami, who put his chin on his left shoulder and said, Try the ability to slide the fruit and see if you can prevent those negative ghosts from touching you. Nami was slightly taken aback. Ah, what if it doesn't work? If it doesn't work, I'll think of another way. Luffy seems to be using Nami as cannon fodder by doing this, but it is a very sensible approach. Because even if Nami gets negative, at least Luffy can stay absolutely untouched by negative ghosts. But if Luffy uses himself to test the ability of slippery fruit, if he becomes negative, then Nami will definitely not be able to escape the siege and interception of those two negative ghosts. So, in the face of this situation, Luffy's approach is completely correct. Nami also completely trusts Luffy. Okay, look at mine. Nami pressed both hands on Luffy's shoulders, and with a swipe, he passed over Luffy's head. Luffy rolled his eyes, and was speechless at Nami's childish behavior. Slippery evil sliding away. Standing in front of Luffy, Nami directly opened her hands to welcome the arrival of two negative ghosts. Two chubby negative ghosts, straight into Nami's body. Then, with a swipe, it slid from Nami's body to the sides. Quack, quack, the two negative ghosts suddenly fell into a big horse, and there was an anthropomorphic expression of grievance on their chubby faces. It works. Seeing the two negative ghosts being slid away with my own eyes, Nami was so happy. Although she followed the method Luffy suggested to him to practice the conceptual application of slippery fruit, but she has never used it on ghosts in actual combat. This time, the first show of slippery fruit against the ghost will make Nami's understanding of slippery fruit's ability to a higher level. Is it really useful? Seeing the effect, Luffy pointed to himself. Come on, give me this set meal too. Nami steps up to Luffy, puts his hand on Luffy's head. Slippery, evil, slip away. So naive, Luffy took Nami's hand off his head speechlessly. He knew that Nami's ability to use flower fruit on others does not have to be molded. Nani negative ghost doesn't work anymore. Perona opened her mouth wide and was immediately unhappy. Luffy looked at Perona and said, I understand, the you in front of me is not your body, but your soul. What kind of soul? This is a ghost clone. No matter what method you use, you can't hit me. HMPH. Seeing that my ghost can no longer work, Perona is very unhappy now. Ghost is it? Thank you for providing the information. Luffy nodded, and then said to Nami, you heard me, now try to see if the slippery fruit is useful for her ghost body. When Perona heard this, she said angrily, damn it, you lied to me again. Luffy spread his hands. Look at what you said, what happened on the battlefield. How can it be called a lie? It's just trying to get the other party to tell the information voluntarily. Speaking, Luffy moves, shave, moonwalk. Luffy's speed is extremely fast, and he came to Perona in an instant. This sudden scene made Perona startled. Nami clapped both hands on Perona's arm without hesitation, and activated the devil fruit ability without hesitation, slippery smooth ghost. When this ability is activated, 3 screaming voices resounded in the sky above this gloomy land at the same time. What Luffy and Nami didn't expect is that the ability of slippery fruit is effective, and the effect is amazing. Perona's ghost body suddenly becomes a slippery ghost with 0 friction. In this way, what kind of wine red umbrella, what kind of crown, what kind of red leather boots, what kind of black and white striped socks. At this time, all of them lost any focus, and they all fell to the ground in a crash. Usopp. Nani is it? Vinsmoke Sanji. OMG. Damn Luffy and Nami, you two are blocking the camera. Get out of the way. Seeing this scene on the screen suddenly, Sanji almost went crazy. I saw umbrellas, boots, socks, clothes and so on falling from midair. Even a fool would know what happened. But at this time, the footage played on the screen was played from the perspective behind Luffy and Nami, which caused Luffy and Nami to block Perona tightly. Roronoa Zoro. My face over there is buried on the ground, I don't seem to see it. Usopp. It's a big loss for me over there. I didn't come with me, it's my grandma's house. Brook. I am the one who suffers the most. At such an important moment, I actually looked at the sky on the other side negatively. I guess I will be depressed after knowing the truth. Nami. That Rob Lucci also knelt on the ground and grabbed the ground with his head, and he didn't see anything. It seems that he only saw it. Nico Robin. Ahaha, Nami didn't see anything. It should be said that only Luffy is a big eyesore. Marshall D. Teach. It's too much. This kind of thing is actually blocked from showing us. Let the red Luffy enjoy it alone, it's too much. Capone Beige. Yes, that's too much. Scratchman Apo. Second. Ah blah 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 blah. Ah. Perona let out a cry, and immediately hugged herself with her arms crossed. Nami is extremely embarrassed. Ah. No. Sorry. I didn't know it was this effect. Ghost Rocket. Perona is still in the mood to discuss with Nami whether it was intentional at this time, and rushed directly to the distant sky in the form of a jet plane. Also watch it. Don't watch it. Finding that Luffy was still looking in Perona's direction, Nami immediately covered Luffy's eyes with 2 small hands. Luffy explained. No, I'm calculating distance. I want to see if his ability disappears when he reaches a certain distance. Okay then, Nami let go of her hand again. When Perona's ghostly figure completely disappeared from the field of vision, the 3 people on the ground started humming. With a limit distance of about 3,000 meters, the effect of negative ghosts will disappear. Luffy calmly analyzed. Ah. Damn it. What was I doing just now? I actually had such a ridiculous idea. Wiping the dirt off his face, Zoro is in a daze. The state of lack of fighting spirit just now was very scary for him. As a swordsman, this should never happen. Why did I suddenly seem to have lost my fighting spirit just now and fell directly to the ground? Rob Lucci looked at his appearance in doubt. This kneeling posture was a bit unexpected. At this time, Brooke got up from the ground and let out a long breath. Phew. Recovery. Negative ghosts are really scary, they disintegrated our fighting spirit in an instant. Negative ghost. What is that? Rob Lucci was attacked by surprise, so he didn't even see the appearance of the negative ghost. It's like a ghost. When we meet us, we become very negative all of a sudden, Brooke said. Wait. Where are those ghosts? How did they disappear? Zoro looked around and asked in doubt. He. Of course, the ability of this lady's slippery fruit is too powerful, defeating all the negative ghosts and ability users. Nami patted her breasts and said proudly, Hey. What is that? Where did you find the women's clothes? Suddenly, Zoro pointed to the ground not far away. There were clothes, socks, skirts, etc. on the ground, but they looked like energy bodies, not real objects. What? There are women's clothes? Let me see if there are any good-looking fat thorns. Hearing this, Brooke immediately became excited. However, as soon as he turned his gaze to the direction Zoro was pointing it, those clothes in the shape of nude disappeared immediately. The other side, in a certain attic of the ghost castle, Perona escaped from the window without leaving her body. The moment her ghost body returned to her main body, those ghost body clothes also returned to her. Ah. Damn bastard. I was actually. Ah. Perona's body is sitting on the bed, her two small fists are tightly clenched, Perona is beating the quilt frantically. Originally I wanted to wash Luffy and Nami with negative specter. It turned out to be good now. I just exposed all my secrets to Luffy and Nami. Thinking of the way she ran away, Perona's cheeks twitched. Damn it. How can I face them now? Now as long as I see Luffy and Nami again, Perona can't wait to find a hole to go in. How can I show any combat power? No. One of those two guys is so fast, and the other has the fruit ability to defeat me. I can't just sit here. Perona hurriedly got up from the bed and dragged a big treasure box in the corner over. I originally cooperated with Lord Moria because there are many interesting and scary zombies here. Now that my life may be in danger, I will retreat to a safe place first. Perona didn't hesitate anymore, and hurriedly took a large box of treasures and headed for her boat. By the way, there are a few monitoring ghosts left here. If those people are defeated by Lord Moria, I will come back again. Halfway, Perona released several small monitoring ghosts, and flew towards various places in the ghost island. Afterwards, she boarded her exclusive boat and sailed into the mist. Luffy and his group of 5 arrived at the ghost castle. That's where the zombie generals are, and my shadow is on one of the zombie generals. Speaking of which, that zombie is still a celebrity. Brooke pointed to a round door ahead and introduced it to everyone. Celebrity? Who is it? Nami asked curiously. Brooke replied, that person is a dragon-slaying samurai who used to be in Wano Kuni, and his name is Ryoma. Ryoma. Hearing this name, Zoro suddenly showed a surprised expression. He heard this name from his master Koshiro before. He also knew how powerful this man was before. He was a little shocked and said, Moria can kill him. Brooke shook his head and said, no. Moria just stole his corpse and put my shadow in it to create a zombie general. Because I used my shadow, the strength of this zombie general is basically it's exactly the same as me. Of course, there may still be a little bit of Ryoma's consciousness when he was alive, but it can be said to be negligible. Micro. After hearing what Brooke said, Luffy understood. He smiled and said, no wonder you can't get back your own shadow. Every time you fight this guy, you are fighting yourself. Yeah. It's too difficult. Brooke twitched his lips. Boom. Rob Lucci has already kicked open the round door ahead. Brush. A sword light flashed out, and a zombie in a red coat was slashed out with a sword. Is that him? Luffy asked. No. This is Captain John, who is also a great pirate. He was very powerful in his lifetime. Brooke shook his head. Subsequently, several general zombies rushed out of it one after another. It's him. When Ryoma zombie came out, Zoro recognized it without Brooke's introduction. Let me. Zoro took the lead and rushed directly to Ryoma. One sword-style lion song IAI. Draw the knife, charge in, sheath it. All in one go. When Zoro appeared behind Ryoma zombie didn't even have time to draw his sword, and his head was cut off directly. Chance. Brooke rushed over quickly when he saw this, and spat water at the dragon horse zombie's mouth. A black shadow floated out from the body of Ryoma zombie, and got into Brooke's body. I'm back. Yo ho 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 ho. My shadow is back. Great. Yo ho ho ho. This feeling of losing and regaining, if you have not experienced it personally, you will never be able to understand how excited Brook is now. As that dragon-slaying warrior, it sounds like a powerful name. I was instantly killed in front of Zoro. Nami curled her lips, a little disdainful. Luffy explained. You made a mistake. It wasn't Ryoma who was seconded, but Brook. It's impossible to know what Ryoma's real strength is. Swipe, brush, brush. Several swords and swords flickered, and several other zombie generals were also chopped up by Zoro. Afro. What are you still doing? Give them water. Seeing that Brook was still immersed in joy, Zoro shouted. Ah, here it comes. Brook started working quickly. Huh, this knife. Suddenly, Zoro's attention fell on Ryoma's sword. I thought the zombie must be using a broken knife, but this knife is intact. Zoro picked it up and waved it lightly. Good knife. Although I don't know this knife, it doesn't prevent Zoro from being able to judge the quality of this knife. Roronoa Zoro. The Ryoma over there disappeared all of a sudden. When we were in Ghost Island before, Zoro and Ryoma Zombie fought heartily, and finally defeated Ryoma Zombie. With the little consciousness left, Ryoma Zombie entrusted the black sword Chusui to Zoro. But now in the red-framed video, the Dragon Horse zombies don't even have a chance to speak, let alone entrust. Although it is more formal to accept this knife on my side, but the strength of Zoro over there makes Zoro feel a sense of urgency. I'm actually so much weaker than myself over there. Since I could have gotten stronger and I didn't, did I really try? Don Quixote Doflamingo. Fu Furfur. What's the matter here? I'll see later, the Moria over there is gone. Gecko Moria. You fart. Lousy won't disappear immediately. It's you. When the red Luffy over there meets you, you will disappear immediately. Don Quixote Doflamingo. Do you think I'm a weak chicken like you, Furfur? Zoro also unsheathed the knife from Ryoma Zombie's body, inserted the knife into the sheath, and made a clang, very crisp. Looks like I'm here this time. Holding this knife in his hand and looking at it for a while, Zoro was very excited. I just don't know what quality this knife is, but it should be a famous knife that can't escape. Zoro didn't think about Ryoma's saber. After all, in his opinion, the saber in front of Ryoma must be at least at the level of a fast sword, and such a good sword must have been taken away long ago. And now this knife, Zoro speculates that it may be a famous knife that was not found on other zombie corpses, and it was used by Longma Zombie. Luffy said, this is simple. When we arrive at the Saboti archipelago, let's buy a collection of famous knives and compare them. The shadow is back, and Zoro has a good knife. Shall we still go to Moria? Brook asked. Luffy frowned. Why don't you go? Of course you want to go. Otherwise, wouldn't it be a waste of 1 or 2 billion Baileys? Led by Brook, a group of 5 people came to my front door. Brook pointed upwards. Moria is on the top floor. Moria. Come out and meet me, Luffy yelled directly. It stands to reason that as 7 warlords of the sea, someone came to challenge him directly, so there is no reason not to come out. As Luffy expected. After a while, a fat figure appeared on the balcony on the top floor of the castle. Where did the blind monkey come from? It actually came to my place to play wild. But, since you took the initiative to send it to my door, I will not be polite to accept your shadow. Hey he he he. Gecko Moria smiled and pointed in the direction of Luffy. A group of black shadow bats flew over. Luffy's arm stretches out suddenly, the people should let go. Armament Hockey's wrapped palm instantly grabbed Moria's head. Then he pulled Moria down violently, and then his knee popped out. Conqueror's Hockey and Armament Hockey were wrapped around the knee at the same time, and hit Moria's head with a bang. With this blow, Luffy didn't feel any sense of solidity, but as if he was hitting the air. Missed Luffy's observation. Hockey captures Moria's location instantly. He looks again at the balcony where Moria just appeared. I saw Moria standing there, looking at Luffy in horror. And Moria, who was caught by Luffy just now, turned into a dark shadow. Judging from the shape of this shadow, it is Moria's own shadow, that's right. Damn, you were just Conqueror's entanglement. Moria also got to know New World when she was young, so she has some knowledge. If you have never eaten pork, you must have seen pigs running. He can be sure that what was wrapped around Luffy's lap just now is definitely a double compilation of Armament Hockey and Conqueror's Hockey. Don Quixote Doflamingo. Oh, surprisingly avoided the first blow. Awesome, Moria. Gecko Moria. Huh. Stop looking down on people. Do you think I will be defeated by Red Luffy like that idiot crocodile look? I have a secret weapon. As long as Red Luffy can't find out my secret, he won't be able to defeat me. As soon as Moria's voice fell, Luffy's arms stretched again instantly. Dang. I grabbed his head all of a sudden, and then pulled it back suddenly. Asshole. Moria cursed secretly. She had already seen Luffy make a move, but he had no time to dodge. How outrageous this is. When Luffy bumped Moria's head into his knee, his hand suddenly stopped. Subsequently, Conqueror's Haki was wrapped around this arm. It is equivalent to the person who holds Moria with Conqueror's Entanglement and Armed Color Entanglement. Then a fierce punch blasted out, heading straight for Moria's shadow. Nani. Moria's eyes widened immediately. She was so angry that she wanted to curse. Moria's body is frantically switching back and forth between the shadow and the body, but all this is of no avail. Moria's body and shadow collided, and passed out cleanly. Puff puff puff. As if being punched and vomited, Yin's shadow spewed out from Moria's mouth frantically. Flying towards the misty forest. Sir Crocodile, is this your secret weapon? Don Quixote Doflamingo. Fu Furfur. Not bad. He lasted until the second blow of the Red Luffy. Gecko Moria. That Red Luffy is too much. How did he realize that my body and shadow are interchangeable? Dracule Mihawk. Analyzing the enemy's ability in battle is a basic requirement for a strong man. Let alone a strong man with a talent like Red Luffy. Boa Hancock. Red Luffy is awesome. Quick. Just follow these shadows, let's get the money. Seeing a large number of shadows blowing out, Luffy waved his hand to signal everyone to follow. Luffy. Do you want to cut this guy? Zoro pointed at Moria with a knife. Gecko Moria. That green bastard. Seeing this scene, Moria was so angry. You are the only one who opens your mouth, right? You are the only one who can speak, right? Red Luffy is gone, you have to say something more. Don Quixote Doflamingo. Fu Furfur. Prepare to be beheaded. No need. This guy is a bastard, but the people he captured are still alive anyway, so let him live. There is no injustice or enmity in itself, whether this person has any reason to kill him. Naturally Luffy doesn't care. A person like Absalom who just takes off his pants by relying on the invisibility fruit and wants to do bad things to other women, it is definitely impossible for a normal person to spare his life. The killing of Crocodile in Alabasta before was also because Crocodile killed countless Alabasta civilians, so he deserves to die. And if Moria wasn't 7 warlords of the sea, Luffy would definitely take him and exchange it for bounties. But he is still 7 warlords of the sea, and he can't exchange bounties. However, there are genuine pirates here in the misty forest. Isn't it stupid to leave so many pirates alone? Zoro glanced at Moria, then sheathed his knife and left in the direction of Luffy and others. Gecko Moria. Hey he 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 he. That's great, I'm not dead over there. Sir Crocodile. Damn it. What does Red Luffy mean kill me over there so simply, but show mercy to Moria over there? Crane. Those things you did in Alabasta, is it wrong to kill you? Gecko Moria. Hey he 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 he. Seems like I'm at least not a bloody villain by Red Luffy's standards. Don Quixote Doflamingo. You're quite proud, aren't you, the scum that was turned over after 2 strokes? Gecko Moria. Anyway, I'm safe over there. Doflamingo. I guess it will be your turn to play soon at that time, let's see how you die. Don Quixote Doflamingo. Fu Furfur. This video should be over after watching this video. Do you want me to appear? I have never met the Straw Hat Boy in real life. I made a fart scene. Moonlight Moria. HMPH. Isn't it time for Summit War? The Straw Hat is already in Naval Headquarters, right? See if you die. Following the Shadow's flight direction, Luffy and his group of 5 came to Milu Forest. Shadow. It's a shadow. My shadow is back. Great. Our shadows are all back. Who defeated Moria? Who helped us? The pirates in the Misty Forest were extremely excited. 10 cheered and ran towards the outside of the Misty Forest. When they came to the entrance of the Foggy Forest, they saw a huge balloon man here. Of course, there are 4 figures beside the giant balloon man, which can be ignored. Hi everyone. It was I who defeated Moria. Now I ask you, are all the people who lost their shadows in the Misty Forest here? Luffy, who turned into a giant balloon man, obviously attracted everyone's attention as soon as he opened his mouth. Yes. They are all here, so you saved us. Thank you so much. Thanks you. Thank you so much. Pirates shout loudly. Luffy smiled. Oh, thank you. You don't have to thank me. Everyone come with me now. Our boat is on the shore, and we are about to leave here soon. If you don't want to go with us, you can just stay with us Ghost Island. Nami pressed one hand on the ground, and a crystal clear slide spread out in an instant, leading straight to the shore. She looked at the pirates. Okay, those who want to leave, just follow us on this slide now. Speaking, she jumped directly onto the slide, slid out of the way. Then, the four of Luffy also slipped out. Pirates, look at me, I look at you. If you don't leave now, when will you stay all slipped out? Thousands of miles of sunshine left the Devil's Triangle and headed straight for Saboti Archipelago. On the deck, Luffy is leaning on a deck chair, wearing sunglasses, shouting lollipops. Registered, Captain. Khalifa came with long legs, holding a registration form in his hand. Yeah. Luffy hummed. Khalifa opened the first page and read. There are 829 people in total, 73 of them did not offer rewards, 57 people did not include human life in the rewards, and the remaining number is 699. So much. Hearing this, Luffy's eyes sparkled, he pulled the sunglasses a little below the bridge of his nose, and looked at Khalifa. How much is it? Khalifa tweeted the purple gold glasses. The total reward amount of the 699 people is 3.374 billion Baileys. Hiss, even Luffy, who now has a net worth of nearly 4 billion, still can't help but take a deep breath after hearing this figure. Obey. If all the cash is exchanged for this, the net worth will be doubled directly. Still the pirates are worth the money. What ammunition, what devil fruit. In front of selling pirates, everyone is a younger brother. Okay. Tell Rob Lucci and Kaku not to treat them badly, give them good food and drink, beautiful white and fat. This is the god of wealth, it's better to get fatter and deliver. Nami. Ah. Luffy over there is really making money. All of a sudden, it was more than 3 billion Baileys. Nami is drooling. If this is from our side, how many beautiful clothes can I buy? If we have more than 3 billion Baileys in our hands, we still have to dig and search for everything to buy. Usopp. Yes. They make money quickly, so they spend money generously. To build the 1,000 miles of sunshine, the materials alone cost about 600 million berries. The labor cost is 100 million berries, and after the construction is completed, they paid 100 million berries. Bailey's red envelope, I'm so envious. Nico Robin. Actually, at the beginning, Luffy spent money and solicited it. Do you remember haggling for a long time when you bought it for Zoro later? The money increased, and he became more generous. Frankie. Haha. Yes, in order to cut tens of thousands more Baileys, I fought with the shop owner to blush and thick neck. Trafalgar Law. It's normal, I was poor when I was poor, and I was rich when I was rich. The red straw hat over there is very real. Saboti Archipelago, Island number 66. This is where the 6th branch of Marine is stationed. Night falls, Locky Rear Admiral is sitting in front of the window, stroking the Medal of Rear Admiral's military rank, and the appointment of the base chief of the 6th branch of Marine. I never thought that I, Rocky Rear Admiral, would be lucky enough to be a Rear Admiral in this life. Recalling that half a year ago, first was a Marine colonel who seemed to have no hope of promotion, planning to stay in the 16th branch for the rest of my life. I didn't expect a good thing from heaven. 5 thugs beat him up, and directly gave him a promotion to make a fortune. Not only was his rank promoted to Commodore, but he also became the base chief of the 2nd Field Branch of the Marine. Then, a few months later, it was the 5 gangsters again. He got promoted again. Not only was he promoted to Rear Admiral, he was also transferred from the 7th branch of Lilith Island to the 6th branch of Saboti Archipelago. You know, this place was guarded by Marine Vice Admiral before. Now he is guarded by a newly promoted Rear Admiral, which shows how much the headquarters value him. My 5 hits. When will you come to see me again? Maybe I'll be promoted to Vice Admiral. Rocky Rear Admiral put away the medal and letter of appointment, and is about to go to bed. But at this moment, the door of his room opened. Out of fighting instinct, Master Nuoji immediately stretched out his hand to the gun on the table. Keep reaching halfway, Loki Rear Admiral suddenly froze. This is. When he saw clearly the enemy that broke in before him, he was so excited. Haha. Come on. He didn't say anything, just opened his hands, indicating that he didn't have a weapon, and then rushed over with his head stretched out. The 5-member group of Straw Hat Bandit here is directly blinded. What's the situation? Where did the neuropathy come from? Buggy waved his stick with disgust on his face and hit him. Ah! Locky Rear Admiral screamed happily, then passed out. Everyone, look at me, I look at you, it's all inexplicable. Subsequently, the Straw Hat Bandit 5 found the vault. It's not enough. This is estimated to be just over 2 billion Baileys. Usopp made a rough calculation, and said unhappily. This is the 6th branch, why is it so poor? Luffy was also extremely depressed, then shook his head. I will go back later and let Nami settle the accounts, plus the 1 billion Baileys owed to us last time. Marine owes us at least 2 billion in profits. Speaking, Luffy stretched his arms, wrapped around the treasure chests one after another, and then slipped away with these treasure chests. After transporting the money back to the 1,000 Miles of Sunshine, the 5 of Luffy began to send the pirates to the marine base batch by batch. After that, I ran all night, come to an island near the Saboti archipelago. Luffy let go of all the guys who didn't have a reward and there were no murders on the reward. It turns out that this sword is really Ryoma's saber, Chusui. Luffy looked at the introduction of Chusui on the famous knife atlas, and his face showed joy. 21 jobs with a big fast knife. Nami also stared wide-eyed. What luck, such a famous knife was found on a zombie. Maybe Moria didn't study knives, otherwise, it would be impossible to hang a big sharp knife on a zombie. Luffy rubbed his chin and analyzed. Then, he pointed at Zoro with his finger. Hidao Yiwen, Shuezo, Chusui, 2 big sharp knives, 1 good fast knife. This guy is now a famous brand. Ha ha. Partners laugh out loud. By the way, we will head to the Fishmen Island next. Are you ready for the underwater adventure? At this time, Nami held a nautical chart and announced to everyone. The Fishmen Island, that's great. Thinking of the Murloc sisters of the Fishmen Island, Sanji's eyes are crazy with Little Red Sun. No, don't rush, but at this moment, Luffy rejected the proposal. He looked at everyone. During the day, everyone has already inquired at the Saboti archipelago. New World is more dangerous than the first half of the Grand Line. There are a lot of pirates with a reward of over 100 million, even the strong with Conqueror's Haki often visible. And the most important thing is this. Luffy slapped a piece of information on the table. Nami picked it up, opened it and read. The current known whereabouts of the red historical text, one is in the hands of 4 emperors Charlotte Linlin, and the other is in the hands of 4 emperors Kaido. 1. Yes. The information we have obtained from multiple sources of love in the Saboti archipelago is almost the same. The only whereabouts of the red historical texts that can be determined so far are these 2 pieces. Anyway, since we are going to Raftel, then the content of these 2 red history texts must be obtained. Next, after we go to New World, we will face the 4 Emperors Regiment. So, our regiment can't have shortcomings. So, we will go to the next paragraph. It's time to concentrate on intensive training. Speaking of this, Luffy looked at Chopper, Robin and Frankie. Especially the 3 of you. The training time is relatively short and you will have to improve yourself crazily in the next period of time. Yeah. Robin nodded. She knew that her strength could rank among the bottom 3 among the Straw Hat Pirates, so she understood the urgency of improving her strength. Okay, I will work hard too. Chopper also raised his little hoof. Practice. Super. Frankie has no objection either. Nami. I'm practicing again. Usopp. It's really just a matter of disagreement. Roronoa Zoro. Cultivation is a must. Going to the New World with their current strength, they are already much better than us. And they will continue to practice for a while before going to the New World, and they will be even stronger by then. Nico Robin. In comparison, our side is like a random adventure, while their side is more like a well-prepared adventure. Monkey D. Luffy. It seems that we have to find time to practice hard for a while. I don't want the tragedy of the Merry to happen again. On an unknown island, the practice of the Straw Hat Pirates has begun. Luffy has designated compulsory and elective training plans for everyone. Compulsory courses are shaving, moonwalk, the latest Marine 6 styles physical technique. This is Luffy's favorite. As long as you can practice moonwalk, you can guarantee a certain amount of staying in the air. Even if the capable person is knocked down to the sea, you can change direction in midair by relying on moonwalk and return to land. Equivalent to life-saving skills, so Luffy stipulates that everyone must learn it. Including 2 sisters, Kiwi and Maz. And shaving, this body technique is to move quickly in an instant, and it is also a very practical life-saving and escape ability. And Moonwalk is like Shave's high-level ability, so if you want to practice Moonwalk, you must practice Shave. In addition to the compulsory courses, the other is elective. According to the characteristics of each person, the direction of electives is also different. Such as Robin. He is a flower fruit capable person, and her limbs can bloom anywhere she looks. And the strength of those limbs that bloomed inherited the strength of the main body. In this case, the strength of Robin's body is particularly important. So armament hockey is Robin's main training direction. In addition, Tempest Kick is also a compulsory course arranged by Luffy for Robin. Judging from the current configuration of the Straw Hat Pirates, the main combatants are Luffy, Zoro, Buggy, Sanji, and Frankie. It can be said that the front row meat shield is enough, and Robin's fruit ability also determines her it is not suitable to stand in the front row during battle. Her support with Nami is ideal. Nami's direction is pure support, but Robin is different. Luffy hopes she can become an AoE support, because Chopper is Zone Demon Fruit Power, so it focuses on developing Devil Fruit, supplemented by Haki cultivation. Usopp is mainly observation Haki. Because Sanji does not use hands, Tempest Kick is also a very suitable way for him to practice while practicing armament Haki. In addition, Luffy also let the Cleaners trio start the road of Haki practice. Although they are just cleaners, this is no ordinary cleaner, this is the cleaner on the Straw Hat boat. If you don't know how to order Haki, wouldn't it be embarrassing to say it? As the training of Straw Hat One Piece officially begins, time flies by like a white horse passing by. In the blink of an eye, 2 months have passed. On this day, on the island, a burst of excited laughter burst into the sky. It's done. I succeeded. Buggy stands on the top of a mountain, laughing. Awakened, Luffy arrived here first, looked at Buggy in front of him, although his appearance didn't change much, but in terms of momentum, there was obviously some kind of essential transformation. That's right. Luffy, I finally awakened too, haha. Speaking, after all, I can't wait to perform for Luffy. His hands flew out immediately, and kept touching rocks one by one. All the rocks he touched immediately disintegrated and turned into countless crumbs. Rise. Buggy gave a low snort, and all the rock fragments flew up, forming a machete at least 10 meters long in front of Buggy. Under Buggy's control, the sick machete swept out towards the woods ahead. Brush. Without any hindrance, this 10-meter machete skipped over the trees in front of me. Boom. After a delay of 1 or 2 seconds, all the trees collapsed. Originally dense woods, now a piece of plum blossom pile, appeared directly. Oh. Luffy's eyes widened. I have to say, just from the visual effect, Buggy's move is really exaggerated. However, he looked at the crumbs that make up the 10-meter broadsword, and said with some surprise, "You just awakened, can you directly crush other things to this extent?" After hearing this, Buggy laughed immediately. It's all thanks to the good foundation you laid for me. After I wake up, the degree of division of external objects is based on the ability of my body to master. The degree of dynamic division comes. My body can actively split into the size of a grain of sand, so my splitting degree of external objects can also reach the size of a grain of sand. I see. Luffy nodded, and then asked, can these foreign objects that were split by you return to their original state? Can. Buggy waved his hand, and saw the 10-meter broadsword in the air disintegrate immediately, turning into countless pieces and falling to the original position. When those fragments are reassembled together, they become intact rocks again. Just as Buggy splits himself and comes back together. Incredible. Seeing the splitting effect after Buggy's awakening, Luffy couldn't help giving a thumbs up. It can be split when you touch it. This kind of ability is very domineering. And it can be restored. The fault tolerance rate is extremely high. Powerful. Buggy. Is this the case of my fruit awakening? Looking at the picture of him manipulating stone fragments to form a 10-meter machete, Buggy's heart is beating wildly. The 10-meter machete is already so awesome. What about the 40-meter machete? What about the 100-meter machete? Besides, the most important thing is what to touch and what to break. This is the scariest thing. Shanks, Buggy, you should also awaken your fruit ability early. Then you will be invincible in naval battles. Goldie Roger. Yes. There is an awakened split fruit. Even if the Battle of Walter is repeated, I guarantee that the Golden Lion will only be the shit. Shiki. Gia ha 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 ha. You bastard. Which pot can't be opened and which pot can be lifted? But if Buggy's awakening split meets high, it will be a real headache. As the ability user of Lion Fruit, Lion can be said to be invincible in the sea. Don't mind you, Roger. Rocks, lousy directly lead the fleet to shit on your head. But if you meet Buggy, just reach out and wipe it with your hand, and his fleet will be turned into a pile of crumbs, which will be troublesome. Time flies, another 2 months have passed. This day, Robin also received good news. Robin's Tempest Kick and Fruit Fusion skills are finally accomplished. 30 rounds of flowers blooming Tempest Kick. Robin crossed his hands in front of him, activated the fruit ability. Swipe, swipe, swipe. I saw slender legs protruding from the ground 2 meters in front of her. These roots stick out straight at first, like poles standing on the ground. However, at the next moment, I saw these heels bent together, and then kicked out instantly. Bath, bath, bath. Tempest Kick chopping waves formed in an instant, hitting the mountain wall violently. Boom. 30 waves of Tempest Kick hit the mountain wall, forming a violent explosion. The entire mountain wall has collapsed. Nico Robin, able to use Tempest Kick like this. Seeing the release of Robin's ability on the other side of the screen, Robin opened his mouth wide in horror. I have to say that combining the abilities of Tempest Kick and Flower Fruit in Marine 6 styles can create such a mass-killing group attack skill. If it wasn't for watching movies, Luo would never have thought of the direction of this development. And now, Robin has begun to think about how to learn the physical skill of Tempest Kick. Nami. This is too strong. Even if there are thousands of troops on the opposite side, don't even think about breaking through Miss Robin's defense line. Vinsmoke Sanji. Wow. There are so many beautiful legs of little Robin. Suck. Roronoa Zoro. Look at your discoloration. Khalifa. Her Tempest Kick is too sloppy. Kaku. Indeed, neither of us can beat her together. Rob Lucci. Although it's powerful, if you do it like this, it will require a lot of physical strength. It shouldn't last for a few rounds. Okay, Sister Robin, this is simply sweeping away thousands of troops. Nami's eyes are shining, looking at the blasted mountain wall, amazed. It's really powerful, but it consumes a lot of physical strength. This time, it consumes 1/6 of the physical strength. If I continue for a few rounds, I will collapse. Robin put away his crossed hands, and those 30 long legs also disappeared. Don't worry too much about physical strength. If you really need to use this move, just remember to call Nami along, Luffy said. The practicality of the move just now, Luffy also very much recognized. Based on Robin's current development of Flower Fruit, even if 100 legs are released at the same time, it will not be a big problem. It's just that if 100 legs kick out the Tempest Kick chopping wave at the same time, then it will be very difficult. 30 legs kick out Tempest Kick chopping waves at the same time. This is the maximum comfortable amount that Robin can achieve under perfect control. What's the meaning? As for what Luffy said just now, Robin didn't understand a little bit. She looked at Luffy differently, and then at Nami. Hee. Let's experiment and you will understand. Nami came up behind Robin, wrapped her arms around her, and said, Now, Sister Robin, you can use the ability move just now again. Since Nami said so, Robin didn't think too much, and immediately crossed his hands in front of his body, and the ability of Flower Fruit was activated. 30 long legs rose from the ground, fluttering and swaying, and then kicked forward at the same time. Whoosh whoosh. 30 Tempest Kick chopping waves suddenly formed, violently bombarding the Japanese. Normally speaking, when these 30 legs kick out 2 chopping waves at the same time, energy consumption and fatigue will occur at the same time. But this time, Robin was shocked to find that the moment when fatigue was about to occur, it miraculously disappeared. Because fatigue does not occur, energy consumption does not occur. To put it simply, that is, her skill release this time means that she didn't consume physical strength, and it was completely white prostitution. How is this going? Robin turned around in shock, put his arm around Nami's shoulder, and asked in surprise. Nami's mouth raised a little proudly. This is my ability. As soon as I ate the ability of Slippery Fruit, Luffy asked me to try to develop the ability to slip away fatigue. It took me a full year to develop it. Come out. Slip away fatigue. Robin's eyes widened, he covered his red lips, and exclaimed endlessly, Doesn't that mean that as long as you are always by my side, I can release Tempest Kick indefinitely? If that's the case, wouldn't it be invincible? That's not true. I have been working hard to improve the success rate of this skill. but the highest success rate can only be maintained between 90% and 96%, and it is impossible to achieve a 100% success rate. Also, this ability can only be used on others when you are in contact with it, and it must be predictable. It is almost the moment you launch the move, or use it a little earlier, otherwise the failure rate is extremely high. Nami explains. However, upon hearing this, Robin showed a startled expression. A success rate of more than 90% is outrageous, okay. Even if the limit is removed, there is still a 90% success rate. Based on the probability, it is equivalent to helping her recover 9 times of physical strength every 10 times. In this way, according to the extent that she could release 6 or 7 times, with the help of Nami, she can release about 670 such abilities. It is on the battlefield, releasing 60 or 70 times of such tempest kick bombing waves in a row. What is the concept? It's just a battlefield bulldozer. At this time, Luffy said, this trick should be useful in the future. You two should cooperate with the training to increase the tacit understanding, so as to increase the success rate of sliding away fatigue. Well, yes. I also want to strengthen my physical training. With Nami's ability bonus, every little improvement in my physical fitness is equivalent to a 10-fold improvement. This is very important. Robin's passion for training immediately increased. Time flies, another month has passed. On this day, Nami just finished training, and waved to a messenger seagull flying past in the sky. The messenger seagull flies down. Nami tucked 100 Baileys into his pannier, and grabbed a copy of the latest newspaper. Let me take a look. Which god of wealth needs to be bound into a booklet by me? While opening the newspaper, Nami took out the summer reward booklet. Compared to the original booklet, this reward booklet is much thinner. Because those bounty hunters who were brought to naval headquarters in exchange for bounties have been removed from this booklet. What is this? Suddenly saw that today's headline was not a reward, but a news of some kind of execution. Nami let out a confused voice. What's wrong? Luffy, who was resting on the Mary, heard Nami's voice next to him, and went to the doctor curiously. Little Melly also looked towards Nami curiously. Look. It seems that Marine is going to execute a small captain of the Whitebeard pirates, and it's still in naval headquarters. Nami walked over while looking at the content. Suddenly, when she saw this guy's bounty offer, she immediately exclaimed, "Wow! You are indeed the captain of the 4 Emperors Regiment. There is a bounty of more than 500 million. Seeing this price, Nami's eyes reveal the shape of Pele. More than 500 million. Are the pirates in New World so valuable? Hearing this number, Luffy's eyes lit up. One pirate is more than 500 million, if you catch him 100. Isn't that a fortune? While starting to silently think about the plan to make a fortune after going to New World in the future, Luffy took the newspaper from Nami's hand. He looked at the headline and started reading. Marine will be in naval headquarters in a week's time. Whitebeard Pirates second team captain Fire Fist Ace. Shiki. The summit war over there is about to start. Edward Newgate. Gu la 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 la. This kid seems to be very interested in 500 million Bailey. Boa Hancock. That's not right. The summit war will start in a week. Why hasn't Mr. Red Luffy over there gone to the concubine site to find a concubine? Gecko Moria. Hehehehe. You nympho, is it possible that the Red Luffy over there has nothing to do with you? Don Quixote da Flamingo. It seems very likely. Fooferfer. Crane. It's good if there is no intersection. Judging from this situation, the Luffy boy over there should not have gone to the deep-sea prison. If this is the case, the prisoners in the deep-sea prison will not escape. Sengoku. Well, that's good. Goldie Roger. Are you two idiots thinking too much? Even if the Red Luffy over there really goes to the deep-sea prison, those prisoners can't escape. Kazuki Odin. Yes. With Hong Luffy's style of doing things, he blocked the door and recaptured them, and then went to the Marine branch base to collect the bounty. Brox D. Zebek. Ha ha ha. That's true. Boa Hancock. Ah. No way. I really don't have a chance with Luffy-kun. My body and mind hurt so much. Ace. Reading the name, Luffy froze for a moment. Can't be such a coincidence then, he continued to look down. I saw the full name of Fire Fist Ace, Portgas D. Ace. Nani. When I saw the full name, Luffy immediately confirmed that this Ace is the one who lived with him in Dayton's house. Although Luffy was practicing most of the time at that time, Luffy would go back to have dinner on time every day, and sometimes Ace would go back to eat, and the contact time was not too small. It's been a long time, the two of them have communicated a lot, and they both know the relationship between each other and Garp, and they have recognized each other as brothers. Of course, if you want to say how strong brotherhood is, it must be bragging. What's wrong, Luffy? Seeing Luffy's surprised look, Nami immediately asked with concern. Luffy looked at the head portrait on the newspaper, and twitched the corner of his mouth slightly. This person is my grandpa's adopted grandson, that is, my brother in name. Ah. Nami widened her eyes in astonishment. She was shocked. Is this your brother who is about to be executed? Luffy nodded. Yeah. I don't have much contact with him, but if you continue from the perspective of Grandpa, he is indeed my brother. The current situation is that the Whitebeard pirates have announced that they will go to naval headquarters to rescue Ace on the day of the trip. Nami pointed to the information in the newspaper. If this is the case, then we will take the opportunity to take action, and there should be a great chance to rescue your brother. Save? Luffy frowned. Why save Monkey D? Luffy, huh? Seeing the Red Luffy's reaction over there, Luffy was stunned. What's the situation? Red Luffy over there isn't going to save Ace. Portgas D Ace. Huh? Ace himself was also dumbfounded. Although in his heart he did not want Luffy to save him, but when he heard Luffy over there say, "Why do you want to save him?" his heart suddenly became empty. I know that the Luffy over there is not the Luffy here, but this kind of psychological blow is still hard to bear. Sabo. Hey, what's going on with Luffy over there? Why didn't you save Ace? Sabo has recovered his memory now. He cannot accept what Red Luffy did. Trafalgar Law. I don't think there's anything wrong with the idea of the red sombrero. The red sombrero and Ace over there only met each other when they were kids. Chatting with him, there is no emotion behind the Straw Hat and Ace, so his reaction now should be normal. Shanks. That's the truth. They are just brothers in name. If it's just an ordinary matter, the Red Luffy over there will definitely take action. But for such a big event, he wouldn't joke about his partner's life. Goldie Roger. With Hong Luffy's character, I really wouldn't be so reckless. Aha, Nami was stunned. She froze. Why? Luffy said calmly. Look, naval headquarters would rather trigger an all-out war with the Whitebeard pirates than resolutely execute them publicly in naval headquarters. What do you think? Think about how many bad things he has done. He deserves it if he is killed. When they heard that the reason why Hong Luffy didn't go to save Ace was actually this, all the viewers froze on the spot. Good guy. It turned out to be because of this reason. Portgas D Ace. Hey. Does Luffy over there take me for granted? Marco. Haha. Red Luffy must have thought that your 550 million berry bounty was obtained by killing and setting fire all day long. Edward Newgate. Goo. If he knew the real reason why Marine insisted on killing you, he wouldn't turn a blind eye. Sengoku. Nonsense. Red Luffy over there is no meddling. Goldie Roger. That's right. Red Luffy is indeed not a nosy person, but the problem is, it can't be completely someone else's business to him. I bet if he knows the truth that Ace is going to be executed, he will definitely take action. Sakazuki. He better shoot. Then I over there can wipe him out. Shanks. Where did you get your confidence? Because of the upcoming big event, Luffy decided to let the Straw Hat Pirates rest for a week, waiting for the big event to come. The newspaper said that the news agency of Sabaody Archipelago will broadcast the Summit War live. So the Straw Hat Pirates went to Sabaody Archipelago again. When passing by Island 66, the Straw Hat Pirates and their party took a special look. Sure enough. The Marine Guards on Island 66 have been strengthened a lot. Luffy reminded. Before we officially go to New World, come and visit again. Our 2.458 billion Baileys for the Marine time can't be counted. The other 4 members of the Bandit 5 strongly agree. This Summit War live broadcast is a good opportunity for us to learn about the highest combat power of Marine and the combat power of 4 Emperors level big pirates. Everyone should watch it carefully. Let us have a psychological preparation in advance for the enemies we may encounter in New World in the future. When the 1,000 miles of sunshine came to a stop, Luffy said seriously. Good. Everyone understands that this is a rare opportunity. There is still about a week before the Summit War starts, and this week is completely a vacation. After landing on the shore, I immediately rushed to the most famous local restaurant because of my family. Look. That's him. Straw Hat Luffy, the big pirate with a reward of 200 million Baileys. Catch him and get rich. Suddenly, someone shouted beside the Straw Hat Pirates. Luffy and his group looked over. and saw this guy with a watermelon head, holding a piece of paper in his hand. His face was flushed with excitement. Look. Next to him are Roronoa, Zoro and Nami, each offering a reward of 50 million Baileys. Catch them. A total of 300 million Baileys. We have 108 bounty hunters here, let's go together. Okay. Share the 300 million bonus together. Listening to the noise of these people around, the Straw Hat Pirates finally realized that they met their colleagues. Luffy Haki Side Leak, the majestic conqueror's Haki was released from him. The terrifying coercion is like 10 mountains pressing down on the top. All of these bounty hunters are stunned to the ground at once, foaming at the mouth, groaning. Only the bounty hunter who shouted just now didn't faint. It's not that he can resist Luffy's conqueror's Haki, but that Luffy's conqueror's Haki deliberately bypassed him. You. Come here. Lu Shen stretched out his right index finger and ticked the bounty hunter. This guy was completely frightened and stupid at this time. His legs were trembling non-stop, and the trembling Super Luffy came here. It's over, I kicked the iron plate this time, I'm going to die. With fear, the watermelon-headed bounty hunter walks up to Luffy. Luffy reached out and took the Vice Admiral paper from his hand. It turned out to be a special periodical with the title, 10 Supernovas. Luffy frowned, and looked at the bounty hunter with a watermelon head in doubt. Hey. Does this paper mean that there are now 10 pirates with a bounty of more than 100 million on this island? Nani, watermelon-headed bounty hunter, was stunned for a moment. Looking at Luffy in disbelief, as one of the 10 supernovas, don't you know about this? Our captain is asking you something. Buggy's eyes froze, and the sharp eyes immediately frightened the watermelon-headed bounty hunter. Watermelon-headed bounty hunter quickly nodded. Yes, there are 10 powerful pirates like you. Ha. Hearing what the watermelon-head bounty hunter said, Nami suddenly laughed. You must have misunderstood something. Luffy continued to ask. We have only just landed. How do you know we are here? The watermelon-head bounty hunter quickly replied. We bounty hunters are an alliance. There are people watching at every port. As long as it is a big boss with a reward of over 100 million, our alliance has already grasped their whereabouts, and we are waiting for someone. When the order is placed, everyone rushes up. Facing a strong man like Luffy, the watermelon-headed bounty hunter didn't dare to take any chances, and answered honestly. As soon as these words came out, Luffy's eyes lit up. Oh, if you say so. You also know the whereabouts of the other 9 people. Yes, the watermelon-headed bounty hunter was stunned for a moment. He looked at Luffy with a little fear. Luffy slapped his thigh. Great. Where are they? Let me ask. Speaking, the watermelon-head bounty hunter took out an intercom bug and asked. This is Watermelon Head, please report the location of other supernovas except Luffy. Seeing this situation, Luffy immediately looked at everyone, and pointed at the intercom bug on Ziguetu's hand. Look, it's someone who specializes in this kind of thing. After a while, different voices came from the intercom. Island Restaurant number 24, discovers Supernova Jewelry Bonnie, Capone Beige, Hawkins. Island Bar number 21 discovers Score a Miracle app, Kid Eustace. Civilian Street number 21, discover U Rouge, Kira, Drake, Trafalgar Law. No more, no less, exactly 9. Professional. Hearing that the intercom phone bug you sent an accurate report so quickly, Luffy couldn't help giving the watermelon-head bounty hunter a thumbs up. At this time, Nami rubbed his hands, licked his little tongue, and said excitedly, Wow, Luffy, I calculated, these people add up to 1.743 billion Baileys. 9 people are worth so much money. Luffy stared wide-eyed, obviously also surprised by the price. They caught about 700 pirates before, and they were worth more than 3 billion Baileys. Now 9 pirates are worth nearly 2 billion. This is really cost-effective. Watermelon-headed bounty hunter looked at Luffy and Nami, completely confused. What's the situation? Isn't this guy a supernova? Why do you have to look like a bounty hunter? Luffy looked at the watermelon-head bounty hunter. Hey, lead the way. Let's go to Island 21 first. There are many people there. What? If we delay our money-making, my aunt will not spare you. Nami raised his hand and slapped the watermelon-head bounty hunter on the back of his head. Yes. Seeing Nami getting angry, the watermelon-head bounty chain immediately led the way obediently. Kid Eustace. That guy. Isn't he going to catch us over there? Trafalgar Law. Looking at the situation, it is indeed doing this. Scratchman Apo. What a trouble. Even pirates like Crocodile and Moria are not his opponents. If he meets him, we don't know if we can get away. Yorogue. Still thinking about getting away, calm down. Let's see how we can each survive in his hands. Jewelry Bonnie. Damn Red Luffy, we didn't mess with him. Capone Beige. He only recognizes money. Led by the Watermelon Head bounty hunter, the Straw Hat Pirates soon arrived at Island 21. Where is this kid? He is the most expensive, look for him. Luffy pointed to the Supernova special issue in his hand, and asked the Watermelon Head Gold Hunter. Watermelon-headed bounty hunter pointed forward. The bar. Here is the bar in front. There is also a Scratchmanshman app there. Luffy looked down at the Supernova special issue, and was overjoyed. These two add up to more than 500 million. That's great. When I came to the tavern, as soon as Luffy entered the door, his eyes immediately searched around, and then fell on Kid Eustace. A moment later, he found the figure of Scratchy Manap again. Found it. Luffy smiles. Without further ado, it's the Conqueror's Haki release. The pirates present all turned their backs on their backs and fell to the ground, spitting out their mouths. Only Kid Eustace and Scratchmanshman resisted. Hey, damn it, this is Conqueror's Haki. Scratchmanshman stood up directly, staring at Luffy in horror. It's not like he hasn't met a strong man with Conqueror's Haki before, but it's the first time he has seen someone who can use Conqueror's Haki to directly knock all his subordinates to the ground. Asshole. Using Conquerors here, under Kid's smoky eyebrows, there is an extremely cold and stern look in the eyes of the day. His Conqueror's Haki is also released violently. He looked at everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates with a dazed face, but none of them fainted. Vinsmoke Sanji. Haha. Look at his bewildered face, I laughed so hard. Frankie. I guess he has never seen a pirate group that can withstand the impact of Conqueror's Haki. Nico Robin. Although he also has Conqueror's Haki, but his Conqueror's Haki is not as good as Red Luffy's Conqueror's Haki over there. Gecko Moria. He. This kid is dumbfounded after using Conqueror's Haki. What you? You all resisted my Conqueror's Haki. Kid looked at the Straw Hat Pirates with a shocked expression. However, what he said made Luffy ask in a daze, what did you use Conqueror's Haki? When the popular Luffy asked this question, the chat room burst into laughter. Using Conqueror's Haki didn't affect anyone on the other side, that's enough. As a result, the other party still asked such a question, directly exploded on the spot. Bastard. F*K me, Kid's mentality exploded. It's as if I punched you with all my strength, and you said, what tickled me? Although there is no attack power, but the insult is off the charts. Kid roars, the magnetic fruit ability activates the mouth. The metal equipment in the whole bar flew towards him in an instant. But before he could make a move, Luffy's big hand has already landed on his head. The covered armament Haki and Conqueror's Haki's super big hands directly covered Kid's entire head. Don't even try to succeed. Kid grabbed Luffy's wrist violently and was about to take it away. However, as Luffy's palm suddenly retracted, Kid's head and Luffy's knee had an intimate contact. No accident happened, Kid passed out cleanly and neatly. Nani, seeing this scene, Scratchman Appo's heart skipped a beat. Damn. Kid was killed in a single blow. Damn. What kind of monster is this Straw Hat Luffy? As supernovas, they naturally know about the bounties and strengths of other supernovas. It's like a student who wants to compete for the top at the same time in a class, so he must understand the situation of his competitors. Appu has learned about Luffy through the reward order and black market information, and knows that this guy's team has slaughtered the past guards of a World Government Alliance country, and also killed 7 warlords of the sea. These two things made him have a bounty of up to 200 million Baileys. But obviously, this bounty is not outstanding in the entire Supernova team. But this scene in front of me really frightened Scratchman Appo. The kid who killed 315 million Baileys in one hit is ridiculously simple. He didn't even think about it, he turned around and ran away. Ah, blah, blah, blah. Straw Hat Boy, there will be a date later. Jumping on the spot, Slackmanap jumped directly towards the window. Slippery surface. Nami raised his foot and stomped the ground, and immediately activated the ability of Slippery Fruit. Scratchman Appo just stepped on the window, and suddenly slipped. Hey. Scratchman Appo's 2 arms quickly swung a few times in the air, and then fell to the ground with a plop. Asshole. Who spilled oil on the window? He got up from the ground angrily and cursed. But at this time, Luffy's big hand has already reached his eyes. When Luffy's palm suddenly tightened on his face, Scratchmanshmanap even felt difficult to breathe, and then he felt that his whole body was violently pulled forward. At this moment, what appeared in his mind was the appearance of Kid just now. Boom. One hit Conqueror's top knee. Scratchman Appo also followed in Kid's footsteps. I won the lottery. Besides the two of them, they have so many younger brothers. Hurry up, bind them all. Luffy looked at the pirates lying on the ground and said, Leave it to me. Frankie opened a cabin from his shoulder, took out a special rope, and happily rushed towards the pirates. Kid Eustace. Damn it, it's also a hit. Seeing that he was killed in one blow by Luffy over there, Kid was so angry. Scratchman Appo. Asshole. In front of him, is it even a luxury to escape? Trafalgar Law. Hee, two idiots. Scratchman Appo. Don't be complacent, Ro. Do you think your end will be any different from ours? Rafalgaro. Look, I don't think I'm necessarily caught. Jewelry Bonnie. This bastard, does he only know this trick? Seeing that Hong Luffy hit everyone with one blow to the knee, Jewelry Bonnie was a little uneasy. She is a woman after all. How ugly it would be if the nose was bruised and the face was swollen by the red Luffy over there. Capone Beige. What are you expecting? Don't worry, Hong Luffy is also not soft on women. After coming out of the bar, Frankie pulled a rope in his hand, and a series of pirates were tied to the rope. If you look at it from a distance, it looks like a big thunder grape. The bodies of these pirates are all covered with a slippery film by Nami using the ability of the slippery fruit. Frankie only needs to gently tug on the rope, and he can easily drag these pirates away. Watermelon-headed bounty hunter is thinking about running away right now. According to his opinion, neither of the two inside is weaker than Straw Hat Luffy, and Luffy brings a group of people in. Obviously it will be a fierce battle. If you slip away at this time, wouldn't it be an opportunity to learn well? However, while he was still thinking about this question, a palm was already clapped on his shoulder. Hurry up. Let's go to Minmin Street. Woke up suddenly, the watermelon-head bounty hunter was startled. Then when he saw Frankie behind Luffy dragging a large group of pirates, the watermelon-headed bounty hunter was so shocked that his eyes almost fell out. No. Not right. Kid and Apu must be gone. Straw Hat Luffy and his gang took the opportunity to harvest their little brother. The watermelon-headed bounty hunter guessed. But this thought just came into his mind when his gaze fell on a red-haired man. Hiss. He suddenly took a breath of air. Isn't this Kid Eustace? He took another look. Isn't the thing that was bundled with Kid exactly Scratchman Appo? No. How long did it take for them to enter in total? The time from entering the door to leaving the door is added together, and it must not exceed 1 minute. In such a short period of time, they actually defeated all the captains and main forces of the Kid Pirates and the Radio Pirates. No. Not only defeated, but also packed. If you didn't see it with your own eyes, the watermelon-head bounty hunter would never believe such a thing. Hey. What are you still doing in a daze? Take us to Minmin Street. If you delay my money, I can't beat you to death. Seeing that the watermelon-headed bounty hunter was still in place, Luffy urged. Oh. Watermelon-headed bounty hunter quickly lead the way. Not long after, they came to Minmin Street. Just arrived here and saw two people fighting. It's the strange monk Yu Rouge and the killer warrior Kira, Nami shouted excitedly. At this time, the weapon outlines of the two collided together, and a figure suddenly appeared between the two of them. Nami's eyes lit up. It's X-Drake. He's also the guy who offered a bounty of more than 200 million Baileys. Boom. X-Drake holds a sword in one hand and an axe in the other, blocking the attacks of Yu Rouge and Kira respectively. He pretended coldly and said, Hey, if you have the ability, go to New World and make trouble. It turned out that just as his words fell, two big hands suddenly fell from the sky. One grabs Urouge's head, the other grabs Kira's head. Whizzing. X-Drake didn't realize what was going on, and suddenly found that the two people around him disappeared. He subconsciously turned his head to look to one side, and immediately saw the Straw Hat Luffy, who also belonged to the Supernova, jump up with double knees, directly knocking Yu Rouge and Kira to the ground. The two fell to the ground, and they didn't move at all, as if they were dead. Then I saw a muscular man in swimming trunks rushing to Yu Rouge and Kira dragging a bunch of pirates, and skillfully tied them both to the bunch of human strings. Wait. That's. Suddenly, Drake's eyes fell on the large string of people, and his pupils shrank suddenly. Because he saw the kid. Also saw the Sprockman up. Now add Rouge and Kira, that is to say. That Straw Hat Luffy and his gang have captured 4 supernovas. Kid Eustace with the highest bounty is also included. Drake's heart suddenly sucked in a breath of cool air. Immediately have a bad feeling, and on the stone bench not far behind him, a pirate wearing a Madara plush cap also saw this scene, and his expression changed drastically. What? That Straw Hat guy. Seeing this scene in front of him, Trafalgar Law immediately realized what Luffy killed the 2 with one blow, and stretched out his hand to grab Drake without hesitation. Damn. Drake doesn't have any thoughts of fighting right now. He is not a fool. Judging from how Luffy dealt with Rouge and Kira neatly just now, if this guy deals with him, I'm afraid he won't use the second blow. He turned and ran without hesitation. Ouch. As soon as I turned around and exerted force on my feet, it seemed like I was stepping on the air. Drake slipped and fell to the ground. Then he felt something covering his head, and it was dark. Whoosh. Luffy grabs Drake and takes it back, then hits a knee. Then he threw it to Frankie, and then he looked at the Watermelon Head Bounty Hunter. So there are 4 here, is there another one? Watermelon Head Bounty Lotus is numb at this time. He didn't know how Luffy dealt with Kid and Shratchman Appo before, but now he saw the scene just now, he already knew what happened to Kid and Appo. At this time, when Luffy questioned him, he hurriedly forcibly pulled himself out of the shock, and then looked around. No. I didn't see. Afterwards, he picked up the intercom. This is Watermelon Head. Has anyone seen Trafalgar Law? I just said that he was at number 21 Island Common Street. An immediate response came from the intercom. Watermelon, I saw you. Trafalgar Law was on the stone bench about 150 meters in front of you just now, but just a moment ago he suddenly disappeared. Now the doctor is going to see his target. Has anyone else found traces of Trafalgar Law? The watermelon-headed bounty hunter asked again. However, only a few, no, came from the intercom bug. The edge of Island 21. Trafalgar Law suddenly appeared here out of nowhere. His face was pale, sweating profusely, and he was breathing profusely. Damn. Why is there such a strong guy in the supernova? Just now I saw Luffy kill 3 people in an instant. Trafalgar Law didn't even make a sound, so I just used the fruit ability Yongzaichong to teleport. Because the slaughterhouse's teleportation range is very limited, Trafalgar Law has been using the teleportation ability continuously, and has moved to the edge of Island 21. He took out the phone bug and shouted anxiously, PayPal, Paijin, quickly take everyone back to the boat, we have to leave this island quickly. Although he is a pirate, Trafalgaro is very calm. He recalled what happened just now, and quickly judged that Luffy must have some purpose to catch all the supernovas. If he stays here, he will definitely be murdered by Luffy. Kid Eustace. This bastard. His strength is not very good, but his escape method is slippery. Drake. It's outrageous. In front of the Red Luffy, we really can't even have a chance to escape. Trafalgar Law. As I said earlier, I can escape for sure. Falgaro is still very confident about his fruit ability. Bartolomeo. Senior Red Luffy is so handsome. Cavendish. Fortunately, Hong Luffy and I are not in the same period, otherwise it will be difficult at the moment. Ding. Enter the prize-winning answering session. At this moment, a question appeared on the big screen. Question. How many people in the supernova were not caught by Red Luffy in the end? A. 0 people. B. 1 person. C. 2 people. D. 3 people. E. 4 people. Gold. D. Roger. Another answer. Rox, answer quickly. Rox. D. Zebek. Roger, all F*** K your grandma. Shaki. Gia ha 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 ha. People who can't answer the questions can only be incompetent and furious. Gold. D. Roger. Ah, sorry, I forgot again, you are still forbidden to answer questions this round. Charlotte Linlin. Wahahaha, Izanbaran v Nashoro-san, choose B. Gold. D. Roger. Oh shit, 5 elders can't sit still. Izanbaran vs Nashao Langsheng. Need you to take care of it. Gold. D. Roger. The tone is really unfriendly, then I also choose B. Nami. B. Jewelry Bonnie. Ah, I've been chosen. Judging from the current situation, option B is the most likely option. Crane. choose E. Sengoku. Crane. Seeing Suru Vice Admiral choose E, Sengoku was so excited. If Crane Vice Admiral is analyzed, then why would he want to miss such a good opportunity? Crane. Don't ask, I'm just guessing. Now there are only 4 supernovas left, and the largest number of people who can answer this question is 4, so I chose E. Zephyr. Sometimes it is indeed possible to analyze in this way. But judging from the answers of this movie viewing system so far, the answers to these questions are not regular at all. It cannot be inferred with common sense. Crane. I know. But I have to take a gamble. I haven't been detained for life. Even if I lose the bet once, it's no big deal. What if I win the bet now? When I have the opportunity to answer the question, I always feel that I am not sure about it, and it will be too late to regret it. Marcus Masheng. It makes sense, I'll choose E2. Frankie. Choose E. This time the problem happens to be stuck with this number of people, maybe it's this one. Nico Robin. Then I'll choose a. Monkey D. Luffy, Robin. Trafalgar Law. Robin is in charge. I've run away. Nico Robin. I just ran away temporarily. I was just thinking in reverse. What if you were caught back after you ran away? Goldie Roger. It makes sense. Damn it, I chose early. I blame that bastard Nashijiro-san, I chose B. Izanbaran vs Nashijiro-san. Crazy. Shiki. Then I will choose a. Try to give me another great reward. Jihahahaha. J. Golucia Satan-san. A. Basil Hawkins. Why didn't anyone take C? I feel like I should be able to run away. Jewelry Bonnie. Okay. Then I choose D. Basil Hawkins. I said C. Jewelry Bonnie. I know. You can run there, but you know I can't escape. Don't underestimate my fruit ability. Capone Beige. I guess I can't escape. I'm with Jewelry Bonnie, choose D. Roranoa Zoro. Choose D. Girl with a big stomach, I'll choose with you too, we're even. Jewelry Bonnie. If you choose the right one, please remember to treat me to dinner. Roranoa Zoro. Stop daydreaming. Countdown to answer the question. 2. 1. With the end of the countdown, the red frame video continued to play. Not here. Luffy looks at the empty stone in front. Judging from the information that the bounty hunters said just now, that Trafalgar Law was still there just a few seconds ago. If this is the case, it must not be far away. Suddenly, Luffy's observation haki was opened to the maximum and released. In an instant, his observation haki covered the entire civilian street. However, there are a lot of houses on both sides, and there are too many people, so it is impossible to cover too far even with Luffy's top-level observation haki. Observation haki makes judgments by perceiving the breath and emotional changes of creatures. If there are only 2 people, even if the 2 people are far away from Luffy and there are many building blocks in between, Luffy can lock them clearly. But if there are 10,000 people, even if everyone gathers in a square, it will take a certain amount of time for Luffy to find him out of the crowd by relying on observation haki. After all, the more people there are, the more and more messy the breath and emotional changes will be, and the greater the impact will be. After searching for a while, Luffy failed to find any trace of Trafalgar Law, and said in a very depressed mood, "Damn, I was careless, and I missed 200 million. Bailey. Nami also gritted her silver teeth and said angrily, "This cunning 200 million Bailey man. Next time you meet him, you must not spare him. If you missed one, you can't miss the second one. Hurry up. Go to Island 24 immediately. Catch the remaining 3 and bring them to justice." Luffy waved his hand, and everyone went in the direction of the mighty Super Island 24. Come to Island 24, here, the bounty hunter with the watermelon head humbly leads the way in front. Boom. A gunshot. Luffy stretched out his arm, and instantly pulled the watermelon-headed bounty hunter back. The bullet immediately flew past where the watermelon-head bounty hunter was standing just now. Ah! A child cried out in pain. Luffy turned his head and looked. It turned out that the bullet just missed the watermelon-head bounty hunter, but landed on a child kneeling on the ground not far away, and directly opened a big hole in the child's arm. Everyone noticed that all the people around were kneeling on the ground, only the group of people walking over the Red Tree Bridge next door and the group of Luffy were standing. And the person who shot just now is none other than the Tianlong people surrounded by the crowd on the Red Tree Bridge next door. Damn. Luffy is burning with anger. He instantly noticed a bullet flying towards the watermelon head bounty hunter just now, and he subconsciously pulled the watermelon head bounty hunter back. D. But what he never expected was that the bullet that was supposed to hit the bounty hunter with a watermelon head fell on a child. Chopper. Save people. Luffy yelled quickly, and then suddenly cast his eyes on the group of people at the Red Tree Bridge next door. The geographical composition of Sabaody Archipelago is equivalent to 6 large islands surrounding 2 large islands, a total of 8 large islands. Each large island can be divided into 10 labeled small islands, and the boundaries between small islands are connected by mangrove bridges. For example, Luffy and the others are now coming from island number 23 to island number 24. There are many mangrove bridges on the border here. The Red Tree Bridge that Luffy and the others walked happened to be adjacent to the one that the Tianlong people walked. When Charles Rose came out of the Red Tree Bridge, Luffy and his party hadn't arrived yet. But he didn't walk by himself, but sat on the back of a slave and let the slave crawl on the ground, so the speed was not fast. And he just happened to search the crowd to see if there is any woman he likes. Although what he didn't expect was that the group of people coming out of the Hongshu Bridge next door didn't notice him, but walked forward swaggeringly. Especially the one with the watermelon head walking in the front, who is nodding and bowing. Those who don't know thought he was leading the way for the Tinlongren. For this kind of situation, St. Charles Rose couldn't stand it, so he shot without hesitation. In his opinion, one shot is enough, no matter whether the watermelon head is dead or not, the others will definitely be scared to kneel on the ground immediately. St. Charles Rose really enjoyed that scene. Contrary to what he expected, not only did the watermelon head not get shot, but another guy with a straw hat dared to look at him like that. "How dare you stare at me?" St. Charles Rose was extremely surprised. He raised the gun in his hand without hesitation, and was about to make a hole in Luffy's body. Let him have a long memory. Luffy was angry at this time because of the incident of saving an innocent child by saving the watermelon head just now. Seeing that the culprit actually wanted to shoot him, he immediately yelled, "Zoro, cut him off." Brush. Zoro stepped out of the Red Tree Bridge in one step, and jumped towards the Red Tree Bridge where the Tianlong people were. "Nani, how dare you offend the celestial dragons? Kill him. Court death." The guards and bodyguards around St. Charles Rose all took out their weapons and pointed at Zoro. "All cut." Luffy's angry voice came from behind again. "Just what I want." Happiness is outlined in the corner of the mouth. Zoro's figure is like a gust of wind rushing into the crowd in front. Cross-section, section. In just a few seconds, a body was broken on the mangrove bridge. Gululu. The head of St. Charles Rose rolled along the slope of the mangrove bridge to the ground of Island 24. "Death can't rest in peace. Sengoku. Nonsense. Carrot. Sora. You actually killed a celestial dragon. Rox D. Zebek. Ha ha ha. Well done. Laozi also wanted to kill the Tinlongren back then, but it's a pity that the group of idiots under him are all cowards. Capone Beige. I thought what Luffy over there did was outrageous enough, but I didn't expect that the red Luffy over there was even more outrageous. Kid Eustace. Yes. Although the listener is not taken seriously here, at most it's just a beating, but if there is any disagreement over there, they will be cut off. Jewelry Bonnie. In this case, the Marine Admiral over there should be coming soon. According to this situation, the Marine Admiral that appeared over there should also be Kizaru. Roronoa Zoro. Good job. If this bastard dies, there will be many fewer ordinary people killed by him. Don Quixote da Flamingo. Fu Furfur. What a shameless guy. Ah. The people present suddenly saw that the Tinlongren had been killed, and they all screamed in horror. Many people get up and run. There are also some who are frightened and paralyzed in place, not daring to move their mouths. Why are you wearing collars around your necks? Zoro looked at the few remaining people and asked in a deep voice. These people didn't hold weapons just now, so Zoro didn't kill them. ABG. These slaves were also overly frightened by the incident before them, and only after hearing Zoro talking to them did they wake up from the shock. A very good-looking female slave replied nervously, We are the slaves of Lord Charlevoix. Yes, we are slaves. Several other slaves also spoke. Slaves from now on, you are not. Zoro frowned slightly, and reached for the collars around the necks of these slaves. Don't. The female slave quickly grabbed Zoro's wrist and shouted, No, there's a bomb in here. However, Zoro didn't seem to hear this. A jet black medium appeared on his wrist, and then he broke it hard, and threw the broken collar into the sky. Boom. The collar explodes in the air. Boom, boom, boom. Among the shocked eyes of these slaves, the collars on their necks were all broken by Zoro and thrown into. Run now while you're at it. After leaving a word, Zoro left without looking back. Saving people is just a matter of convenience. As for whether they are willing to escape, it is none of his business. The chopper over there also bandaged the injured child, gave him some medicine for trauma, and instructed him how to use it. However, the child's father knocked off the medicine bottle in Chopper's hand. It's all your fault. If your guy in the straw hat pulled that watermelon head away, our child wouldn't be hurt. Why don't you kneel down when you see the Tianlong people? It's because of you that they angered the Tianlong people. Our children suffered such pain. You are devils. The child's mother also roared angrily. Ah! Confusion appeared in Chopper's eyes. Gone. Seeing this, Luffy didn't say anything more, stretched out his hand, pulled Chopper back, and then walked forward. Restaurant on Island 24, Hawkins. What are you? Why are you staring at me? Noticing that Hawkins' eyes are cast towards this side from time to time, Bej asked, very unhappy. I'm counting the chances of you being able to enter the new world alive, Hawkins said calmly. Capone Bej said disdainfully, What are the chances of lousy? 1%, Hawkins replied. Ha 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 ha. Capone Bej laughed out loud. Hey, Hawkins, are you looking for death? Capone Bej couldn't believe the probability given by Hawkins. Believe it or not. Seeing that Capone Bej doesn't believe it, Hawkins is too lazy to talk nonsense. Hey, fortune teller, look at me. At this time, Jewelry Bonnie looked at Hawkins while gnawing on the pig's trotter. I saw Hawkins immediately began to turn a few cards in his hand. After a while, his complexion became sour. Weird. Why is your chance of entering the new world alive as 1%? If only one person is like this, it means that he will be in great trouble. But if two guys who have nothing to do with each other are both 1%, this is obviously abnormal. Jewelry Bonnie pouted. Hey, fortune teller, are you suddenly stupid? This is the Sabodi archipelago. As long as you pass through the Fishman Island, you can successfully reach the new world. And this guy in front of me actually said that the chance of her reaching the new world alive is only 1%. Isn't that nonsense? However, at this time Hawkins has no time to argue with them about this matter. He thought of a possibility. A few cards were flipped by him quickly in front of him, and soon, his expression changed. Not good. My chance is also 1%. Others may not believe it, but Hawkins knows that his fortune-telling will never be wrong. Although there are many things that he can't calculate the probability of, but as long as he can calculate the probability will never go wrong. No, no, no. My journey can't stop here. The way out. Where is the way out? Hawkins flipped the cards in front of him quickly, and he didn't even have time to catch his breath. After a while, his cards stopped, a silver lining. Heaved a sigh of relief, Hawkins stood up suddenly. Under the surprised eyes of Capone Bej and Jewelry Bonnie, Hawkins went straight to the back door without looking back. With a bang, he pushed open the door and go. So anxious you won't really figure out anything. Capone Bej frowned suspiciously. Boss, you don't need to see that woman anymore. At this moment, the strange gunvader pointed in the direction of Jewelry Bonnie and said, Nani? Capone Bej subconsciously looked at Jewelry Bonnie's position, but found that Jewelry Bonnie's figure was no longer there. He turned his head and looked towards the back door where Hawkins escaped just now, but he didn't see Jewelry Bonnie, only a little girl ran out from there. Strange gunvader asked cautiously, Boss, I heard that Hawkins is very accurate in fortune-telling. Should we also retreat quickly? Okay. Let's go too. Thinking of this, Capone Bej immediately put down the knife and fork in his hand, and stood up quickly. I saw him stretch out his hand, and an open door appeared in his palm. Then all the boys around got in. The moment these people got close to the palm of Capone Bej, they all shrunk quickly and were sucked in. At this time, a girl's voice came from the direction of this door. It's Capone Bej. A reward of 138 million Baileys is offered. There is still a small surprise in the voice. Capone Bej looked over and saw Luffy and his party. Straw Hat Luffy. He narrowed his eyes slightly, looked at Luffy, and said coldly, What do you want to have a fight? Luffy didn't answer this question, but looked around, and then looked at Caponerky. Didn't it mean that Jewelry Bonnie and Hawkins are here too? Puffing a cigar, Capone Bej replied coldly, Those two guys escaped from the back door just now. Although his bounty is only 138 million Baileys, the opponent is only a guy with 200 million Baileys. Capone Beige will not be afraid of the other party because of the difference in reward. As an ability user of the castle fruit, Capone Beige believes that as long as he unfolds the big castle, the guy who offers a reward of 200 million will be easily consumed by him. What? Run away. Hearing this, Luffy immediately showed a horrified expression. Damn it. Those two guys together are almost 400 million Baileys. Without the slightest hesitation, Luffy directly rushed towards the back door. When Luffy Capone Beige, Luffy took advantage of the opportunity to kneel. Boom. Capone Beige felt as if a huge earthquake had suddenly occurred in his head. Two eyes were completely black, and then completely lost consciousness. Luffy came to the back door with Capone Beige in his hand. Observation Haki was released quickly. Then he let out a sigh of relief. Damn it, they ran away. Capone Beige. Nani of the three, I was the only one caught. Basil Hawkins. You idiot, I have already warned you over there. Who is to blame if you don't believe it yourself? Obviously. That woman is much smarter than you. Jewelry Bonnie. I guess. The reason why I ran away with you over there is probably not because I believed in your divination, but because I wanted to use this excuse to escape orders. They all say that they know themselves best, because El Pali is naturally the same. I didn't expect that the self over there actually escaped a catastrophe in order to escape the order. It seems that we will have to escape orders a lot in the future. Well, that's it. Roronoa Zoro. So, am I right again? Jewelry Bonnie. Ha ha ha. Swordsman, we are going to get rewards again. Ding. Anyone who answers wrongly in this prize quiz will be punished. Izan Baron vs. Nashao Langsheng. The right to answer the next round of questions will be deprived, and life expectancy will be deducted for 5 months and 11 days. Gold D. Roger. The right to answer the next round of questions will be deprived, and the life expectancy will be deducted for 7 months and 3 days. Nami. Deprivation of the right to answer questions in the next round, 2 months and 19 days of life deducted. Jewelry Bonnie. Deprived of the right to answer the next round of questions, deducting 8 months and 22 days of life. Copy. Roronoa Zoro. Deprive of the right to answer the next round of questions, and deduct 8 months and 15 days of life. Roronoa Zoro. Nani not option D, Jewelry Bonnie. Hey. Is this viewing system wrong? Trafalgar Law, me and Hawkins, isn't it 3 people? The 2 people who had already started to celebrate the reward in their hearts suddenly saw that they were punished. This feeling, it's like being forcibly fed a mouthful of shit. Trafalgar Law. What's the situation judging from this penalty? Option E is judged to be the correct option. Crane. Is it actually E? Did I get it right? Shouldn't it be D? Although the answer given by the viewing system seems to be E, Crane Vice Admiral is a little confused. Just now when Capone Beige was caught by Red Luffy, Crane Vice Admiral pinched himself hard, very depressed. However, when the correct answer was given to her, Crane Vice Admiral still couldn't believe it. I'm afraid that the viewing system made a mistake, and I will correct it in the next moment. Makas Masheng. It's strange. I also got the answer right. Frankie. If the viewing system is wrong, will it be corrected? Sengoku. No. The answer is E. This question has a brain teaser. Sengoku suddenly found a problem. Hearing what Sengoku said, Suru Vice Admiral also reacted immediately. Crane. Oh. The question is how many people in the supernova have not been caught by Red Luffy? Then the supernova who has not been caught by Red Luffy should also include Red Luffy himself. Puff. Everyone heard he Vice Admiral's analysis, and they all couldn't help but spit out their old shit. Too much. But if you think about it carefully, the current situation is really like this. Trafalgar Law, Jewelry Bonnie, Basil Hawkins and Red Luffy. Aren't these the 4 supernovas that were not caught by the Red Luffy? Jewelry Bonnie. Ah. This question is too much. I blame the swordsman for choosing me and destroying my luck. Roronoa Zoro. Idiot girl with a big stomach. Just remember, now you owe me more. Zoro is extremely depressed. Jewelry Bonnie chose with him, but he was favored by him, and the 2 were rewarded. And he followed Jewelry Bonnie to choose, and ended up with her mold, and both of them were punished. Even the life expectancy is almost deducted as much. Ding. The top 3 correct answers in this prize quiz are Crane, Makas Masheng, and Frankie. Congratulations to the 3, get rewards. Congratulations to Crane, I will reward you for being 15 years younger. Congratulations to Makas Masheng, Reward the natural will snake blood, electricity. Congratulations to Frankie. Reward the little Securite cage hand. Ding. Because the natural will of the serpent blood, electricity, and the cage hand of the little red dragon emperor are magical things from Otherworld, special remarks are made. Natural will Orochi blood, electricity, remarks. Integrate natural will snake blood, electricity, you can get the power of thunder and lightning. Makas Mashang. The power of thunder and lightning. Not bad. Plus my own power, this is definitely a very suitable ability for me. As the demon fruit power of the phantom beast, the strength of its physical body is very powerful. Now with the power of thunder and lightning, it is undoubtedly equivalent to the fusion of Logia and phantom beast. Remarks on the cage hand of the little red dragon emperor. Because the soul of Securite Drake was lost, the artifact was named the little Securute's cage hand, which has the power of multiplication, transfer, and slaughter. At the same time possesses the armor of the forbidden hand and small red dragon Te. Usopp. Armor, Tony Chopper. Wow, it's armor. Vinsmoke Sanji. Hey. Just from the sound of the name, you know that this armor must be amazing. Frankie. Ahaha. This artifact seems very powerful. It can assist, it can be the main attack, and the key is that it can transform into armor. Super. Naval Headquarters, Marineford, Xiaohei, congratulations, you are young too. Seeing that the appearance of Crane Vice Admiral changed quite a bit, Garp happily shouted at Crane Vice Admiral. Yes. I didn't expect this question to be hit by mistake and I got it right. It feels so good to be 15 years younger. Crane Vice Admiral made no secret of his inner joy, it was beyond words. Although Suru Vice Admiral is almost 60 years old after being 15 years younger, but for them, the strength of this young man has not deteriorated significantly compared to the peak period. The most important thing is, my waist is no longer sore, my back is no longer painful, and my heel is no longer cramped. Take it easy. She looked at Sengoku happily, and was about to say something, but suddenly saw Sengoku's gray hair at the temples, and suppressed all the words she wanted to say. Congratulations, little. Sengoku said congratulations on his mouth, but he felt uncomfortable in his heart. The four companions at the same time, Zephyr, Garp and Crane were all 15 years younger, but he was not only not young, but also aged about 2 years. My heart is very bitter. Goldie Roger, congratulations, Suru Vice Admiral, you, Garp, and Zephyr are getting younger. Shiki. Jia ha. Roger, you have bad intentions. Why don't you congratulate Sengoku for getting the Dewey Tianlong cassock? Goldie Roger. Look at what you said, Sengoku is feeling very bitter right now. Congratulations to him now, isn't he asking for trouble, carrot. Sengoku. Shut up. Roger, don't think I don't know what you're thinking. Trying to piss me off, I won't be fooled. Goldie Roger. Actually, you are still angry, right? Sengoku. I'm mad at your mother. Goldie Roger. Hey, the quality is extremely low. Luffy couldn't find the whereabouts of Hawkins and Jewelry Bonnie, so he had to go back angrily. Seeing Luffy approaching, the watermelon-headed bounty hunter said tremblingly, Big brother. I also brought the road, you see, can you let me go? Luffy puts his arms around the shoulder of the watermelon-headed bounty hunter. Don't worry, just do one more thing for me, and I won't have anything to do with you. What? What is it? Follow me. 1 hour later. Edge of Island 66. Watermelon Head Bounty Hunter dragged 19 big treasure chests back from Marine Base with Frankie's rope. When he came to Luffy and the others, he said nervously, Boss. Everything has been changed, and it's all here, a total of 1.914 billion Baileys. Luffy gave Khalifa a look, and Khalifa immediately stepped forward to check. After a while, she nodded, the number is right. Hearing this, the watermelon-headed bounty hunter breathed a sigh of relief, then looked nervously at Luffy. Boss. Then I can go. Not yet. Luffy said coldly. At this moment, the heart of the watermelon-headed bounty hunter suddenly became cold. It's all over, if you don't let him go, then there is only one possibility. Killing in silence. Just when he was thinking about his wife and children at home and wanted to cry, a stack of Baileys with a large face value was stuffed into his hands. You can go now. Luffy's voice fell calmly in his mind. This. Looking at such a large pile of Baileys in his hand, The watermelon head bounty hunter knew that it was a fraction of the bounty he had exchanged just now. Yes, a fraction of 14 million Baileys. A person who could kill him at any time gave him so much money, how dare he take it? But the other party handed over the money. If he doesn't pick it up, it seems that he is too disrespectful to the boss. However, if you really take the money, if the other party says, I really dare to take it for you, wouldn't it be cool? For a while, the watermelon-headed bounty hunter didn't pick it up, and it didn't matter if he didn't pick it up, as if the money was delivered to. What are you doing in a daze? This is the information fee, you deserve it. Finding that the other party was still in a daze, Luffy put the money on the ground, then patted the other party on the shoulder, and took him away. Watermelon head bounty hunter dares to pick up the money. He looked at Luffy's back, and suddenly shouted, Boss, you run away quickly. The Tianlong people were killed, and the Marine side will immediately send Marine Admiral to come as soon as they receive the notification. Luffy stopped, turned to look at Watermelon Head, and smiled slightly. Thank you. Leaving Island 66, Luffy and his party went to Island 33 and their boat docked at the pier of Island 3B. Since Marine Admiral is coming, shall we stop and deal with Marine Admiral? Zoro asked. Luffy frowned slightly. Can Admiral be exchanged for bounties? Of course not, Nami said with a smile. Luffy spread his hands. That's it. And we don't have any money. What are we going to fight with him? An admiral must be very powerful. If he teaches us a lesson, then aren't we at a loss? Makes sense. Zoro nodded, feeling that Luffy was right. Goldie Roger. Ha ha ha. That's a good reason. Edward Newgate. It's really worthless. Googling. Pelusalino. That's right, I agree with him very much. What's good about fighting? Isn't it nice to clock in and get off work on time? However, the tree wants to be still but the wind doesn't stop. Things are not developing in the direction Luffy wants. A beam of laser light suddenly shoots out. Kanglang. Famous sword Chusui unsheathed. One sword style slash. Zoro stepped on. Marine 6 styles shaved and stepped out. His figure appeared in front of him in an instant, covered by Armament Hockey's autumn water, blocking the laser beam with a block, and then he slammed it like 1,000 pieces of gold. Whoosh. The direction of this laser beam was changed immediately. It flew towards the sea and sky in the distance, and disappeared into the sky. Seven warlords of the sea, Zoro frowned, and immediately saw the culprit who sent out the laser beam just now. After solving the crocodile in Alabasta, the Straw Hat Pirates have collectively learned a lot of necessary knowledge, including the letter from 7 warlords of the sea. So now Zoro recognizes Bartholomew Kuma at a glance. No, he is not. At this time, Luffy suddenly spoke. Ah, hearing this, Nami said in surprise, isn't he Bartholomew Kuma from Shichibukai? No, he's a robot. Luffy shook his head, and then explained, my observation Haki can't sense the existence of any breathing in him. When he moves, he hears the sound of mechanical parts. Robot. Hearing this, Frankie widened his eyes and carefully stared at the pacifist in front of him, a little surprised. Because the robot in front of me doesn't look like any machine at all from its appearance, this technology is definitely better than his technology. At this moment, the pacifist raised his hand again, and the golden laser beams condensed again. One-shot style big shock. Zoro didn't show any politeness, and directly slashed over with a knife. A powerful sword energy instantly penetrated from the middle of the pacifist, splitting it in half. Fall to the sides with a bang, zzz. On the smooth as shoes section, there are clusters of electric sparks. It really is a robot. Frankie rushed over excitedly. He squatted on the ground to examine carefully, then grabbed one of the robot's hands and began to eat. Nani Khalifa opened his mouth wide in astonishment when he saw this scene. Rob Lucci and Kaku were also stunned. However, the partners of the Straw Hat Pirates are not surprised. Click, 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 Frankie finished eating a hand, and then started to eat the robot's body, as if the pacifist was not made of steel, but chocolate. Everyone is not in a hurry, just wait patiently for Frankie to eat the robot. When he ate the last part, Frankie stood up, and stretched out his palm to the sky. As the golden energy gathers, a laser beam is sent out from Frankie's hand in an instant, straight into the sky. Wow! Chopper, Usopp and Brook showed envious looks at the same time. Rob Lucci. This is much more efficient than finger pistol. I can also release laser steel beams, this feels awesome. Frankie waved his hand excitedly. In addition, the technical data about the pacifist has also been fused in Frankie's mind. When he goes back, he needs to calm down and study these technological data carefully. Afterwards, the group continued to walk towards the port. However, when they just reached the shore, a shell came by the wind and waves, landed on the ground, and a violent explosion occurred. And before the cannonball exploded, a figure jumped off the cannonball and landed on the ground. Woo. I'm asking you. It seems that there is no need to inquire. Peluzolino was about to ask questions in his usual pretentious tone, but suddenly saw the straw hat on Luffy's head, and his eyes lit up. Are you the Straw Hat Pirates? Luffy picked his nostrils. Oh. What's the matter, uncle, with an ugly face? Ah, you really have no manners at all. If it weren't for you guys, would I have to run all the way here? What a bunch of bastards. Now, do you want to taste the feeling of being kicked by the speed of light, or do you take the initiative to catch it? Perusolino is not happy about being directly turned into an obscene uncle by Luffy. No, who are you? Luffy flicked Booger on the ground in front of Kizaru, and asked with a confused face. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Peluzolino, I'm a Marine, and I'm currently Marine Admiral. Peluzolino had a sorry expression on his face. Hearing Peluzolino's self-introduction, everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates couldn't help twitching their mouths. Why is it such a coincidence? Already arrived at the pier? Why can't you just wait to show up again? If you come a little later, we don't even need to meet. Luffy smiled wryly, and spread his hands. Why don't you pretend you didn't see us, too? Woo. This is indeed a good suggestion. Hearing Luffy's words, Peluzolino really started to think seriously. But he thought for a while, then shook his head again. No, if you let you go, I can't explain to the Tianlong people. So, please go die. Speaking, Peluzolino pointed his finger forward. A golden laser beam strikes immediately. Let me. Frankie shouted quickly, opened his palm, and also released a laser beam. Whizzing. 2 laser beams crossed, and Frankie's laser beam landed on Peluzolino's body, dealing a massive amount of damage. And Kizaru's laser beam skipped Frankie's side and penetrated Kaku's shoulder. I said, you are so active in attacking, I thought you were going to give him a laser beam. Kaku clutched the blood overflowing from his shoulders. He was stupefied. Because Zoro took the initiative to attack just now to intercept the laser beam emitted by the pacifist, so Kaku thought Frankie did the same. As a result, if he didn't pay attention, he was shot by the laser beam. Why? Frankie grinned, with an embarrassing expression on his face. I'm sorry. Actually, that's what I thought, but I didn't expect that the 2 beams of light are not easy to match. Nani. Everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates collectively reveals a black question mark expression pack. So, you were actually a foodie and playful. Isn't this the old laser? How did you make it? Peluzolino was also surprised to see Frankie emitting a laser beam. However, as soon as his words fell, Luffy's big hand stretched out in an instant. The palm is enlarged, wrapping armament hockey. Luffy directly grabbed Peluzolino's brainlove. Gecko Moria. Hey he, here we go. A classic scene. Sandy Crocodile. As Admiral a hit 2, Quixote Flamingo, Fufufufer. Can't it be? Are the 2 generals also killed in seconds? Capone Beige. If that's the case, then it's not that we over there are too weak, but that Red Luffy is too strong. Seeing the Red Luffy use the classic trick again, all the moviegoers stared wide-eyed, watching this scene attentively. As Luffy's arm retracted in an instant, his knee pushed forward and out of the doctor. Conqueror's Haki and Armament Haki are all wrapped around the knees, and they went straight to Peluzolino's door with a bang. Nani. Perusolino hadn't reacted yet, his head was grabbed by someone suddenly. That is to say, at the same moment, he immediately sensed a terrifying power attacking in an instant. Astigmatism fireworks. Luffy's knee was about to make his face full of peach blossoms. Peluzolino did not hesitate to use the ability of sparkling fruit. His whole body instantly entered an elemental state, and then it was like a balloon filled with water was suddenly pierced by a needle. Snapped. Peluzolino's body exploded into countless light particles, spreading out in all directions. Although Armament Haki can capture elemental entities, it doesn't mean that Armament Haki is invincible when facing Logia ability users. To put it bluntly, when you use Armament Haki, as long as you hit the ability user in the elemental state, you can cause a substantial attack. However, Armament Haki is not a seastone, he cannot prevent Logia ability users from using their abilities. Just like Peluzolino at this time, Luffy wrapped around Armament Haki, which made Luffy able to attack him. But Paluzolino actively disperses into countless light particles. This cannot be stopped by Luffy. The target that was originally controlled in his hand disappeared instantly, so Luffy's blow naturally didn't reach Paluzolino. However, Luffy didn't accept the move, but took advantage of the trend and pushed the Nini completely out. In the place where the light gathered in front, there was a sudden dull impact. Paluzolino's body was directly knocked out of the pile of rays of light that started to gather. Paluzolino spat out a mouthful of blood. He looked at Luffy in shock. "Nani, you obviously didn't touch me." Luffy nodded. "Yes. Even if I don't touch you with this move, it can still hit you from a distance." Hit in the air. Hearing this, Paluzolino frowned, and he looked at Luffy in confusion. "Damn. That couldn't be Conqueror's entanglement." "Yes. But you are really strong. You were hit by my Conqueror's entanglement, and you can still stand up. You are indeed the highest combat power in Marine. The enemies you met before, no matter who they are, as long as they are hit by this move, they will all be instantly killed. And the Marine Admiral in front of me can still communicate normally after eating a tyrant's knee." This is what Luffy didn't expect. "Woo. Your words sound really irritating. I am also a Marine Admiral anyway, don't look down on me." Rao is a madman like Paluzolino, but he can't help being aroused by Luffy's words, mouth. Suddenly, Paluzolino raised his hand again, and another laser beam condensed instantly. "Don't try to succeed." Zoro instantly drew out the black sword Chusui, and his figure approached Paluzolino in an instant. He slashed at Paluzolino. Kang! A golden lightsaber instantly appeared in Paluzolino's hand, and struck together with Zoro's knife. Suddenly, Kizaru was shocked by the powerful force. Although he likes to use the Tiankongyun sword, he is not a regular swordsman, and his swordsmanship is half-baked. Facing the sudden attack of Zoro, he originally thought he was just a small character, but the opponent's attack, no matter in terms of the strength, accuracy or speed of the attack, is definitely a swordsman-level existence. After Zoro struck, the other two knives also joined the battle, cutting spines one after another like the shadow of swords in swords, instantly forcing Paluzolino to deal with it with all his strength. At this time, Luffy yelled, "Everyone go!" Speaking, he rushed up first. Rubber double-headed Snake King gun. Luffy's hands are instantly elongated and covered with jet black armament haki. His two fists are like two vicious snakeheads, attacking Kizaru at a tricky angle. Sanji stepped on and jumped above Kizaru's head. Black footmeat head. The armament haki covered on his feet is infinitely close to the advanced armament haki. The violent kick hit Paluzolino's head with a bang. Sniper star. Usopp pulls the slingshot full. An ordinary ball is covered with armament haki, aiming at Paluzolino. Frankie uses the laser beam he just got to keep lacing Paluzolino. Although it seems to have no effect, at least it has a bonus in terms of momentum. Buggy looked at it. It seemed that there was no place left, so he simply didn't make a move. Six wheels blossom rewinding joints. Robin crossed his arms and started flower fruit D. Six arms covering armament haki suddenly appeared on Paluzolino's body, pulling his hands and legs back. Nani. Suddenly being attacked like this, Paluzolino was seriously stunned. However, how could the partners of the Straw Hat Pirates let go of such an opportunity? Sanji's feet come crashing down. Paluzolino couldn't dodge, although he managed to avoid his head, but Sanji's kick still landed on his shoulder. Boom! Paluzolino's right shoulder suddenly sank. At the same time, Luffy's fist landed on his stomach. Boom! The powerful force immediately made Paluzolino feel his internal organs tumbling. Under this powerful force, his whole body was instantly shot to the rear, leaving a circle of airwaves in place. "Hey, stupid Luffy, you hit him too far. Otherwise I'll kill him with one blow." Usopp's sniper star shot out, and I don't know where it hit Paluzolino. I just heard him say, "It seems to be very painful." Rubber Overlord Ape Gun. Luffy stepped into the air, moonwalk and shaved together, and rushed towards Paluzolino in an instant. The fist in his right hand was as big as a small hill. It is covered with armament haki and Conqueror's haki. Paluzolino suffered a great loss at this time. Not only his shoulders were swollen and painful, but his stomach was extremely cramped. I also got a sniper shot from Usopp on my ass, and I'm bleeding. At this time, I saw Luffy rushing over with Conqueror's haki-wrapped fists. Paluzolino was the one in a panic. Damn. No one told me that these guys are so powerful before coming here. Peluzalino secretly greets the 8th generation of Sengoku's ancestors. Sengoku. Can't even Peluzalino take down Red Luffy. Kuzan. Not only did it not win, but the skin was not bloomed. Sakazuki. I can't see it. Crane. Don't laugh at Kizaru over there. Face the Red Luffy group over there alone. If you two go, I'm afraid you won't even be able to come back. Sakazuki. HMPH. Impossible. I'll just kill them. Peluzalino. Woo, who wouldn't talk big by comparison? Even if I'm defeated, at least I can get out. Tell you too, it might be true. Just like Suru Vice Admiral said, I fell straight. Before coming here, the information Peluzalino got from Sengoku was clearly an ordinary little pirate group. The captain's highest strength offered a reward of only 200 million times his strength. The rewards for both combatants are 50 million Baileys. Others are even less popular, but now, what Peluzalino can conclude is that both the opponent's swordsman and the captain can fight him alone. As for the others, they are not weak either. The key is that there are still a few people who have not made a move. It seems that to deal with a marine admiral like him, the other pirates don't need to use all their strength at all. 8-foot mirror. Seeing Luffy approaching, Peluzalino's right hand is on the top, left hand is on the bottom, palms facing each other. A thick golden light shot out from his hand, and bounced several times between several buildings in an instant. Luffy rushed to the front. This punch did not go down. It is predicted that Peluzalino will dodge this blow. In this case, why waste effort? Luffy turned his head and saw that Peluzalino had already appeared in midair. In terms of frontal combat power, Peluzalino may not be the strongest among the 3 admirals, but in terms of escape ability, he ranks second. Absolutely no one can be ranked first. It's not just bragging. As long as Peluzalino wants to leave the battlefield, unless a net has been set up in advance, otherwise, no one can keep Borsalino. Rusalino. At this time, Usopp shot a sniper star at Kizaru. Want to come? Seeing the bullets of the sniper star approaching, Peluzalino instantly dispersed his figure into countless light particles. Afterwards, he took advantage of the opportunity to gather in the sky. 8-foot Chonguyu. Among the light and shadow, Peluzalino condensed into a human form. He crossed his hands, and then opened them suddenly. Countless golden light particles, instantly raining down. See what you guys will do. Since the melee is not the opponent, then rely on the fruit ability to fly the kite directly. Perusalino is also a smart person. At this moment, countless tiny particles suddenly flew up from the ground. Luffy turned to look at Buggy. This is Buggy's awakened ability. Originally Luffy was going to make a move, but now that Buggy made a move, he did it subconsciously. The countless small particles flew into the air almost instantly, and then formed a large hemispherical bowl. Nami, help me, Buggy yelled. Good. With Nami's intelligence, he naturally understood what Buggy wanted. She held her finger and activated the ability of Slippery Fruit. Slippery Zero Friction Mirror Surface. Flower Fruit's ability is instantly attached to the big bowl made by Buggy. I saw that the mouth of this big bowl was facing the direction of the 8-foot Chongu Jade lacing, like a big mouth, swallowing all the laser beams of the 8-foot Chongu Jade. Swipe, swipe, swipe. All the laser beams slipped in this big bowl, and then shot back in the direction of Peluzalino along the wall of the bowl. Buggy. What is this? Shanks. The combination of fruit abilities is really interesting. Peluzalino. Damn it, even the 8-foot Chonguyu can be completely reflected. Shiki. Mirror reflects light, there's nothing wrong with that. Jihahahaha. Nani, seeing Buggy make a big bowl, Peluzalino's eyes widened. He put away his supernatural powers, and looked at the people below with a confused face. Damn it, I really can't do anything to you. Don't be embarrassing us, think about yourself first. During the conversation, Buggy activated his ability to break up the giant bowl in the sky again. Countless fragments recombined and condensed into a 40-meter-long machete. Under the control of Buggy, the machetes slashed towards Peluzalino from above. Woo. It's really scary to make such a big guy. However, no matter how big the thing is, it won't have any effect on Logia's elementalization. Look at the 40-meter machete cut down. Peluzalino is not taboo at all. Even if Buggy has armament hockey, he can't wrap armament hockey on this knife in the air. Sure enough. When the knife cuts across Peluzalino's body, it's like skipping across the lake, leaving only a little ripple. You guys, your strength is indeed beyond my expectations. It's just If you want to deal with this old man, you must first be able to fly. Being beaten up just now, Paluzolino feels very uncomfortable now. He immediately wants to regain some ground in terms of words. Buggy, take me up, I'm going to beat him up. Hearing Paluzolino's words that deserves a beating, Luffy immediately shouted. And me? Let me go up too. Zoro has prepared 3 knives, and then he can fight. And he has experience in cooperating with Buggy, so he is more familiar with air combat. As for Moonwalk, although Moonwalk can provide the ability to stay in the air, it is only used to deal with ordinary people. Sparkling fruit abilities like Paluzolino, if someone uses Moonwalk to chase him, he will definitely be walked to death by Paluzolino like walking a dog. Don't worry, I'll try to deal with him myself. Buggy's body leaves his feet and flies into the air. Splitting fruit ability, except for the feet, other places can fly. Shave. Buggy's ankles trampled on the air violently, and instantly came to the front of the 40-meter broadsword. He grasped the 40-meter broadsword. The jet black medium surged out of Buggy's hand like ink, and climbed crazily along the handle towards the front. Being on the boat at about the same time as Zoro, Buggy's armament hockey has been practicing. Although his talent in cultivation is definitely not as good as Zoro, he often practiced for such a long time, and with the guidance of Luffy, his armament hockey has also been cultivated to a very advanced level. Buggy machete. The man is in the air. Buggy is waving the 40-meter machete wrapped around armament hockey, slashing at Paluzolino. Hey, you're really a bit sloppy with this big knife. Paluzolino is tossing and turning. Although he is agile, Buggy's blade is big enough and has a large killing radius, which really makes him a little uncomfortable. Laser. Seizing the dodge gap, Paluzolino raised his hand and pointed, and a golden laser beam immediately penetrated Buggy. Hey, be careful Buggy. Don't fail. If you can't, just switch to us. Everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates shouted from below. Haha. I'm fine. Countless sand grain-sized Buggy body in the air quickly backfilled into the hole in the body that was shot by the laser beam just now. Paluzolino. Nani, my laser can't even hurt his body, his is not elemental. Buggy. Haha. The me over there has already split to the level of fine sand. I will shatter as soon as you hit me, and I will take the initiative to unload the force, and I will not take any damage at all. Crane. Not only for this reason, but also the Buggy over there also has a good armament hockey. The moment he was hit just now, those crumbs were also covered with armament hockey. Under the double protection, the damage of the laser beam is all weakened. Buggy. So there are armed colors. I didn't even see it clearly. Goldie Roger. Haha. Little Buggy, you have to learn from you over there. Buggy. Got it, Captain. What the expression on Paluzolino's face when he saw that Buggy's body didn't suffer any damage. He is a little unbelieving. He clicks forward with both hands at the same time. Laser beams, like machine guns, keep passing through Buggy. In the blink of an eye, Buggy's body becomes riddled with holes. However, after a short while, when the pieces of armament hockey covered in the air returned to Buggy's body, an intact Buggy appeared in front of Paluzolino again. Wow. Buggy is amazing. Even Marine Admiral can't do anything about him. Chopper clapped his hands excitedly. Whether Buggy can beat Marine Admiral or not, Marine Admiral will definitely not be able to beat Buggy. Usopp also made a positive judgment. Frankie laughed loudly. It seems like both sides can't help each other. Zoro said, if the other party insists on leaving, Buggy really can't catch up. In this situation, let me play a battle song to cheer up Buggy. Brook pulled out his cane sword and put it on the scabbard, and the passionate rhythm was ignited. Buggy has returned to his original state, and the corners of his mouth curled up into a wicked smile. Don't leave after the fight. Now it's time for me to attack. The 40-meter sword in the sky suddenly fell apart and turned into countless small blades. And Buggy's own body also disintegrated into many separate small pieces. These small pieces each hold a blade and then endow armament hockey. Taste my strength. 100 Buggy. The next moment, the battle scene in the sky turned into hundreds of body fragments with hundreds of blades flying around Paluzolino's body. If you look at it from a distance, it looks a bit like a large group of flies scrambling to bite an egg. Paluzolino frowned. He suddenly realized that he was surrounded by Buggy. If you want to break through at this time, you will definitely not be able to take into account all the Buggy pieces, and all the Buggy pieces are wrapped around armament hockey's blades, and they all have the ability to break through him. If he escapes, he will definitely be able to escape. But getting injured is absolutely inevitable. Dignified Marine Admiral came here from Naval Headquarters to arrest the murderer who killed the Tianlong people. As a result, the murderer was not caught, but was injured by an ordinary crew member of the opposing pirate group. Wouldn't it be embarrassing to say this? So at this moment, Peluzolino is because of his old face, and he must not run away. Shuang Amazono Cloud Sword. Sophisticated battlefield experience made Peluzolino summon 2 golden lightsabers without any hesitation, and became a dual-knife swordsman. Whirring, 2 Tiankongyun swords danced around Peluzolino's body into an impenetrable circle of swords, lights and swords. Those little buggies are constantly being chopped up by Peluzolino. Yes, the advantage of little buggy is the large number, but because it is split into small pieces of buggy, the degree of sturdiness must be greatly reduced. Under Peluzolino's non-stop attack, the little buggy is constantly being broken up. In a blink of an eye, the number of remaining little buggies seemed to be insufficient to surround Peluzolino. 100 crack buggy return. The buggy stopped drinking, whether it was the broken little buggy or the unbroken little buggy. They all flew back quickly at this time and reassembled into a big buggy. Countless gravel and sand also flew back, turning into a 40-meter machete in Buggy's hands. Don't leave. The winner hasn't been decided yet. Buggy pointed at Peluzolino, then raised a 40-meter machete and slashed violently. Oh, you forgot to use armament hockey, then I won't be polite. Seeing that the 40-meter machete that Buggy just assembled this time has not been wrapped around armament hockey, Peluzolino's Amakongyun sword in both hands repeatedly slashed. It's like chopping vegetables and cutting melons, chopping the 40-meter long machete piece by piece. Almost half of it was cut off. Buggy cut the remaining half to cover the armed color hockey. You got fooled. Seeing Peluzolino approaching to a position of more than 20 meters, Buggy suddenly grinned. Hold the handle of the knife with both hands, then stab in the direction of Peluzolino. Is this considered a fool? Don't be kidding. Facing this level of attack, Peluzolino stepped back a few meters in an instant. Although he retreated passively, this space is enough for him to dodge and reverse. The fact is just as Peluzolino expected. When Buggy's arm was fully stretched, the 20-meter broken knife still failed to touch his body. It's really scary. If you didn't break the knife in half, I would have been stabbed by you. It's scary what you say, but Peluzolino's tone is full of ridicule. The half-broken knife did not stab him. Can the complete knife stab him? The answer is obviously impossible. If it is a complete knife, Peluzolino is not a fool. How can you put yourself in the attack range where the opponent can hurt him? Looking at Peluzolino's deliberate teasing of him, Buggy was not only not angry, but laughed loudly. Haha, I'll help you, it's not broken now. As soon as Buggy's voice falls, those blade fragments that were originally scattered and floating in the air returned instantly. The 20-meter broken knife instantly turned into a 40-meter machete. As the blade extends along the direction, the first half of the blade naturally passes through Peluzolino's body when combined. As a Logia fruit expert with a keen sense of the battlefield, the moment the 40-meter machete recovered, Peluzolino immediately put his body into Wutai state, thus avoiding the possibility of being penetrated. But even so, he couldn't help but feel a little scared. Buggy's attack method is beyond his expectation. This is the first time I encounter this kind of attack. It is really difficult to react. But at this moment, the jet black medium is like an electric current being transmitted on a conductor, and it rages from the blade quickly. Peluzolino suddenly realized something. Not good, he thought to himself, and quickly dodged to the side. But after all, it's still a step too late. The moment his body was about to leave the blade, Buggy's armament hockey was transmitted to the blade in an instant. Puff. A wound appeared below Peluzolino's left rib, bright red blood splashed out instantly. Peluzolino. What? He hurt me, Buggy. I'm dead. I'm so good over there. That move just now is too domineering, I must learn it. Sengoku. That trick just now, whoever encounters it for the first time, will hardly avoid getting hurt. Edward Newgate. Gu la la la. I have to say, if the old man met the red nose over there, without knowing the information, he would probably suffer. Goldie Roger. This move is outrageous. Little Buggy, look at you over there, you can develop such a powerful move, you have to work hard, you must not be compared to the lower level by you over there. Kuzan. Especially when dealing with people with Logia abilities, this trick will have a miraculous effect. Even the fastest Pelusalino is not spared. If it were me, I would probably die too. It's cut. Frankie shouted excitedly, it must be the effect brought about by my battle song, yo-ho-ho-ho-ho. Brooke pulled more vigorously. Zoro narrowed his eyes slightly. Buggy's move, it's very strong. The buggy move just now is also very strong. One person can surround the opponent. How arrogant, Sanji added. Luffy grinned and said, the one that Nami and Buggy teamed up with just now is not bad either. When faced with such a large-scale killing ability in the future, this move will be specially used to defend. Of course, I'm very capable. Nami pouted her lips, then clenched her fists, and said, your fruit abilities are awakened. I have to work hard, and strive to awaken as soon as possible. Luffy and Buggy saw the transformation brought about by the fruit ability awakening of Luffy and Buggy, and Nami also yearned for the fruit awakening in his heart. So, I have to work hard too. I look forward to my flower fruit awakening soon. I don't know if it will be possible for you to bloom too, Robin said with a smile. What about me? If my munch fruit is awakened, won't everything around me be swallowed?
Ha ha ha. In the sky. Damn it. Kizaru modeled his own wounds, and was extremely angry. But as a official ape, who is used to clocking in and leaving get off work, he can't fight with his life. Now that I am injured, I can just prove that I did not imitate fish this trip. What a scary group of guys, I'll deal with you guys next time. After saying ruthless words, Pelusalino immediately turned into a streamer and disappeared into the sky.